Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the evil that men do. Father God, I pray and ask that you help me to have mercy on others the same way I would want you to have mercy on me. Father God, I also ask that you help me to be quick to forgive and slow to get angry. Amen, amen, amen. These young dudes out here don't respect shit until you put the barrel in their ear and let the text spit. I just might catch a case on my next hit, remove their whole face on some special effect shit. So show respect, trick, or I'ma have a flashback. Digging through the dresser like fuck it, where my mask at? The mash back with the banger and damage shit and say fuck everything I learned in anger management. Hop back on some east side damage shit and push a nigga's top back when I let the cannon spit. Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound, and I shoot quicker than ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Gun on me, it ain't never for show, homie. I'm far from a bully, but I'm never a hoe. Get out of line, my Beretta will blow. Real talk, we can take the beef wherever we go. I bring it to your front door like I'm Uber Eats. I guarantee you listen up when this Ruger speaks. Plus I maneuver through these streets like a ghost, and I'm handy with the heat. I cook a nigga like a roast. On me, homie, this is not a boast. I will still come through, boy, and stop a nigga's post. Play him close, man, Eric will ease it. Quickly off the waistband, man, and Eric will squeeze it. Leave you niggas laid out dead or paraplegic. Niggas playing in these streets while I'm very strategic. I come to your house dressed like the gas man. Shoot you 9 times, leave you stretched by the trash can. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. I don't put shit on Facebook, I just holler in person. Put the pistol in your mouth while you're hollering in cursing. All that shit you kept rehearsing and put on your live, got your clap with the big 4-5. You bitch nigga, if you tell me to pull up, I'ma do that. That nigga who was whooping first nigga that I shoot at. Ski mask on my face, bystanders be like, who that? I ain't with the talking, bitch boy, I thought you knew that. Leave his brains where my shoe at and bounce like I'm on a trampoline. Leave you laid out, nigga, like you camping on the scene. If you want something sweet, grab a peach or tangerine. Niggas won't smoke, well fuck it, I'ma let them handle steam. AR with the beam, you see the red dot? We tug on this trigger, nigga, it'll make your head pop. Blood pouring down to your shoes, call it Red Sox. Your brains hanging all over your shoulders like some dreadlocks. Expect the gang of dead off if they ever cross the line. The Lord said in the Bible, no revenge is mine. So I'm just trying to find a righteous path between the two. Before I lose control and do the shit I used to do. This being humble shit is new. I'm trying to turn the other cheek, but I ain't never been a bitch, so watch your mouth when you speak. Your mercy's what I seek, so I pray on bended knees. Don't let me get the K with the extended clip and squeeze. Lord, please. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps. A ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
All right, y'all. All right. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody back on a Thursday evening. Shout out to everybody, man. Okay, so let's take care of the business, which would be with Brother Eric, man. Shout out to Brother Eric, man. Go over there and check him out. 16 to Life. Letting us use the song Relapse, man. He's a good dude, man. Go check him out. Good, solid brother. I'm gonna have him come back over here, man. I just gotta talk to him, man. I gotta bring him back over here and set that up, man. But see how he's been since the last time we talked to him. But he's a good dude, man. Good dude. Solid cat, man. So go over there, check out 16 to Life, the YouTube page. Check him out, man. He's got a lot of merch. Got some funny skits. Plus, he's a very creative brother. You might want him to do something for you, man. Creatively. All right, that's brother Eric. Let me pull him down, man. Who else? Who else is in the building? Oh, okay. I got OG Patrice in the building right now, but that's where we're at right now, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna pull Patrice up, y'all. Hold tight, hold tight. Patrice,
Hey, brother, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, girl. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you, girl. So,
Yes.
what are we doing today, Patrice? What are we doing today?
We are doing our finale of our Narc series.
Okay.
Today, I wanted to have an open panel conversation. I got a couple videos I want to show and have the conversation about the videos that we're going to present. The videos are courtesy of Dr. Romani, who is a licensed clinical psychiatrist, and she deals a lot with people with personality disorders, and her focus has specifically lately have been on narcissistic personality disorder. But of course, she is world renowned in the state of California for all other mental illnesses and personality disorders as well. But I wanted to end this finale on narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder with these videos kind of coming to an end, right? So
Okay.
the first video setup is where Dr. Romani is going to be talking about ending a relationship with a person that is a narcissistic or not have narcissistic personality disorder. And then the final video is actually Dr. Romani explaining about getting therapy after coming out of a narcissistic relationship with someone that's narcissistic, and you as the victim or survivor of that seeking help and seeking therapy and seeking the right therapist, because she says something that's very prominent in her videos when you're choosing a therapist, right? Because for some reason she says there's a lack of awareness or education with a lot of therapists out there, and even some psychiatrists or psychologists, that for some reason their concentration and focus is not on narcissism. And if you don't be careful of picking and choosing the right therapist that has a background and knowledge and education and experience on narcissism, the therapist will gaslight you themselves.
Holy smokes.
Exactly. They will kind of tell you, just because you're not licensed or educated, maybe in narcissists. Just say you may have done research like I have, but I know, I'm not a licensed clinical therapist or psychiatrist or anything. So, but I go to a therapist for therapy sessions, and I tell that therapist that I was in a relationship with a narcissist. The therapist will then gaslight you and say, well, you're not licensed or educated on this. Let's not judge, or, let's not, let's just explore, what exactly you're saying or you're feeling. So it's kind of like a gaslighting that the therapist will do to you, just because you may not be licensed, quote unquote licensed, but you know about your own experience. And that's, what gaslighting is about. It's about someone taking your life experiences away from you. So selecting the correct therapist that is educated and experienced in narcissistic personality disorder is definitely something that is for someone that's seeking therapy. You need to make sure that they are choosing the right therapist.
Oh, okay. All right. If you don't choose the right therapist, what could happen?
If you don't choose, she said, if you don't choose the right therapist, you won't, more than likely, you won't get the proper treatment that you need. She said, but if they're not experienced in narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder, at least try to find one that's experienced in trauma.
Okay.
Because, of course, narcissistic abuse is trauma because it causes things like depression and low self esteem and things of that nature. So she
Mhm.
said, if you can't find one, maybe in your area or whatever, at least try to go with one that is experienced and educated in trauma. But you have to be careful with how that therapist talk to you and treat you, because if they're gaslighting you themselves and taking your own reality and experience away from you, that's not the right therapist. I would suggest that you keep looking.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. Let me check. Let me check Sister Annie in real quick. Shout out to Sister Annie. Glad to have you in the building. Excuse me. Excuse me. She's up in here. All right. I got the first video loaded up. I don't know if you want to take a look at that, or what do you want to do first?
Did you need to do anything prior to that
No,
other than
no,
that?
no, no.
Okay. Other than that, yeah, we can go right into the first video that I
Okay.
sent you, and that's the one on ending a relationship, when a narcissistic relationship comes to an end.
All right. Let's take a look at it. The victory of leaving a narcissistic relationship. All right. Let's take a look.
Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back, I hope. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. It's really wonderful to watch more and more people learning about narcissism and actually hearing back from you and recognizing that this knowledge is actually translating into real change in your lives. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. And if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. It's a little bit of validation, even if you're not narcissistic, goes a little ways. So this video is part of the ongoing What Does Victory Look Like in a Narcissistic Relationship series. A viewer had actually suggested one video on this topic, and as I sat with it, I recognized there were multiple topics under this banner, and it's expanded into a series. So much of the content out there that's on narcissism, and this channel is guilty of that too, is about being defeated by narcissistic relationships. But what does victory look like in a narcissistic relationship? We have already talked about what victory looks like if you have to stay in a narcissistic relationship. And I recognize, because many people who are sort of stuck in these relationships and can't get out can sort of feel demoralized by how much of the information out there is based on getting out as the only option. And yet I recognize it's an option that's not available to everyone. So I did do that video first for you, because I know for a lot of you are like, I can't get out. Help me. Can I really have a victory while I'm in it? Yes, you can. Go back and watch that one. But before I begin, as always, I want you to be a part of this. Please drop in the comments. If you did leave your narcissistic relationship, what did victory look like in your case? Because all of you are the experts in this too. All of us learn from each other here. So, what if you leave? You leave a narcissistic relationship. What does victory look like? Let's break this down. I mean, let's start from basics. In some ways, you were a victor, you left. But don't get too cocky too quickly. There is leaving with a little L, and then there's leaving with a big L. It's one thing to step out of a narcissistic relationship just to keep thinking about it, looking on social media to see what this narcissistic person is still up to, sort of secretly hoping that you might still be hoovered, wondering if the new person that they've moved on to is going to get a better version of them, and still getting into the texting slap fights with them. Gang, that's not really leaving. It's just sort of a switch up in titling and position.
All right.
Okay.
Mhm. Let's talk about it.
All right. What is hoovering? I heard you guys talk about this hoovering. What
Mhm.
is hoovering?
Hoovering is when the narcissist continues to string you along by keeping in contact with you, calling you, texting you, maybe swinging by your house trying to see you, swinging by your job, just trying to keep some form of communication with you open, in as in trying to draw you back in and get you back, talking to you on the phone. And if you allow this to happen, right? And this is sort of what happened to me with my narc after no contact for almost a year. All of a sudden, boom, the text, the call, the leaving the message, and and trying to draw me back in, right? Even though he allegedly asked another woman to marry him. And if I would have entertained that any longer, which again, that set off a trigger for me, right? So if I would have entertained that any longer, if and been weak in that moment, I would have been, been swallowed back into the narcissistic triangular relationship between me, him, and the new supply that he has, right? So that's what hoovering is. It's like hoovering over a person, like a hover. You hoovering over the person because you're trying to draw them back in and get them back in. So the
I thought it was hoover like the vacuum cleaner. Like
well, a vacuum cleaner sucks you in, right? It
right.
sucks you in.
That's what I was thinking.
This is what the hoover is. It's sort of like that, like they're trying to suck you in. They're trying to wheel you back into, getting back with them, being in a relationship with them again. And if you don't cut them off again at that point, and you're weak, the possibility of you allowing that hoover to now, draw you back into getting back in a relationship with the narcissistic person, knowing that they got new supply, other supply on the side. That's the part that I think you could be delusional with yourself about, is because a part of you want to think and believe that the narcissist has changed. But how in the world can the narcissist have changed if literally they're hoovering you to draw you back in, but they already got somebody else now. I already talked to his new supply, all the while he's hoovering me, trying to rear me back in, right?
Wow.
So yeah, that's the
okay. So what is the point? I mean, is the point just to bring you back in so we can start the whole thing all over again and hurt you all over again? Is that the point?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the point. And especially seeing that I was the one, that broke it off and said, come get your ish, right? When I told come get your shish, I broke it off with him. So therefore, it's a possibility that he was trying to hoover me back, to get me back in, to do that all over again to me, and to leave me again. Because remember, narcissistic people don't like to be left. So if you're the one that leave and they try to get you back, it's like them trying to get their lick back on you and say, I got you back. It's like a revenge too, because they're not going to do anything but hurt you again. So
right.
That's the thing with narcissistic people, is to say, I got you now. Don't try to hurt me. I just hurt you, and now I'm leaving you again. So I got the last lick. It's like a game, that they play with you.
Now, my understanding from Leon is that it's not that they, well, maybe you can answer this, Patrice. Mm-hmm. It's not that the narcissist is so badly wants to not be hurt. Well, they want to not be hurt, but they're more concerned that you got the audacity to try to take your control back. I think that's the main issue. I think of course they got a lot of other issues going on, but I think that's an issue that you just going to take your life back. And I'm as Leon was trying to explain it, I was trying to understand that kind of thinking process, because me myself, I have never thought that way. I would say never thought that way. I've been out of my mind before, but it just.
But you're not narcissistic.
I don't think so. But I don't know. But see, that's me judging myself. Oh, I know. But then if you ask my wife, maybe at the point she would say, you narcissistic at this, you know what I mean? So I don't think I am. I try not to be, because I live with people like that.
Right. I mean, not to the point where, it's unbearable. Like I said, we all got a little narcissistic traits in us.
Hmm.
But to the point of having a disorder, that's a whole nother level. That's a whole nother spectrum of being narcissistic, or a little narcissistic. It's different. It's to the max. It's above and beyond. It's
Yeah.
behavior. It's a disorder in your personality. So that's a difference from being a little narcissistic. Being a little full of yourself sometimes, bragging on yourself sometimes. We all have done that, right? When we've achieved something, got an accolade for something, and want a little bit of attention and brag. Yeah, I did that, didn't I? I aced that test.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I mean? That in that sense, that's healthy. When it becomes a problem for a person that has the actual disorder, is about the control. A narcissist, person that suffers with the disorder, have to have the control in the matter, and they have a hard time with losing control if the other person left them. They want to be the one to do the leaving.
Right. Because they
you
still
know
got control at that point.
and so they still got control, because they feel like possibly if I leave you, I got a chance of possibly coming back, but if you leave me, maybe not.
Right.
You see
And
what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's a control thing, it's a mind thing, and they play that game. And the fact that everything is about winning for them.
Yeah.
They look at it as, oh, she quit me, she won, I got to get her back. It's almost like I got to get my lick back. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah. That's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
So
That is
so
crazy.
so not only will they hover and stalk and draw you back in, they'll do that just to hurt you again in the aspect of continuing to cheat on you, but they will also hurt you twice as much by leaving you again.
Yeah.
They'll be the one to leave you. They want control of being the one that leaves the relationship.
Yeah. Shout out to Marcus Antonio Castillo. Glad to have you in the building, my brother. All right. You want to watch a little bit more of The Good
Yep.
Doctor? Okay, let's watch a little
Yep.
more of The Good Doctor. Let's see. Where is she? Where is she? Here. Here she is. There she is. All right, let's watch a little more.
It's sort of breaking up for the record, maybe no longer sharing a residence with them, maybe being able to update your social media status to single. But if the narcissistic person is still taking up and wasting all of the high end real estate in your mind, it's not really leaving. The victory is in really leaving, capital L. So, what does that mean? Number one, it's a victory when you stop engaging with anything they say or do except absolutely required communication. Really leaving means completely disengaging. It means not taking the bait, keeping answers brief. Obviously, if you are co parenting with a narcissistic person, some contact is required, but short answers are always acceptable. Victory after you leave one of these relationships means not taking the bait, not falling for the Hoover. They didn't change. 6 months of therapy doesn't mean they changed. Them coming back claiming that they changed or bearing gifts doesn't mean change. Don't fall for it. You don't have to be mean about it. You can just say that it's better that y'all don't start this again, and then they will get enraged. Be prepared for that. Number two, victory is doing the things that you weren't able to do before, like seeing friends that you were convinced by the narcissist to not spend time with. Because, of course, the narcissistic person would
Ooh,
discourage you
ooh.
or say bad things about them or even to them. Or maybe see family members that you might have become isolated from because of the narcissistic relationship, or pursue hobbies or interests that were mocked by the narcissistic person.
Oh boy. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, she
Hey
said a
now.
lot there. Hey sis, how are you? She said,
Excuse
What you
me.
say?
I'm coming
What?
up there. OG Petite's up there. I'm coming up there. What's going on, sis?
Oh, I'm good. Hey, why'd you say ooh? What made you say that?
I know, right?
Because I have been around, I've been with a person that had done that. where I was dating see, when you're young you don't know nothing, right? So you're dating
Mm-hmm.
someone, and this person, I would say, yeah, you know what, something you did, my mother or somebody, said that wasn't too good. That person said, why are you talking to them about me? Don't talk to nobody about me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Oh,
and I was just remembering
oh.
stuff like that where she was saying that, and I was just like, I was like, why? What's the big deal? They just telling me but at the time I didn't, back in the 80s, we didn't call people narcissists. We just called them, we just
Right.
said they on their own tip, right? So well, nobody said that. So I was like, man, what's wrong with this? I mean, eventually, of course, it fell apart, but that's why I was like, ooh, because I was remembering how this person
Mm,
wanted so much control, yet would not offer me the same level of control, right? They
mhm,
didn't want me in their business. They didn't want me to nothing. They only wanted me to come when they called me, and it was just a bad situation for me. For her, it
Bro,
was great, right? For me.
bro, Clarence, you have to remember a narcissist person wants control, but they are very insecure people. So when you told that young lady that you had talked to your mom or some another woman about her or about a situation involving her, she became very hostile, right? Because that
Yes.
insecurity kicked in. And narcissistic people, a lot of times
mm,
when they are in a relationship with you, a lot of them want to control who you let around them and in your circle really close, because they know that it's a possibility your relatives are going to see through them for who
Mhm.
they truly are, your close
Mhm.
friends, because
mm,
they know you. And when they see your behavior change based off of the relationship you're in with that narcissist, they're gonna be like, yeah, so what's up? But he really controlling. Why he don't never let you go nowhere no more? He don't let you don't come to no family functions, or why every time you say, we ask you why he never come around, or never let you. It's always something. A lot of times when we think that our family and friends are trying to be in our business, trying to, be nosy, and that's true. Sometimes they do. You got to know the difference, though, right?
mhm,
If it's genuine concern. So if that narcissist gets upset when you say, "Oh, I talked to my mom about what you did to me," and she thought that was, very cruel, and and she talked to me and gave me advice. If they blow up and get upset because you
mm,
talked to your mother about something that they did to you wrong, that's problematic and a big red flag in and of itself, because they don't want to be exposed.
Mm.
mm.
There it is. There it is.
And if you talk to somebody, probably where you're not on your A game, somebody else could spot something that you missed, and they're
Yeah.
afraid that you're going to talk to them, and they're going to say, "No, you were right for that first." And ah, mm,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're gonna
And confront you about it, or confront them whenever they see them, right?
mm, mhm,
they are fearful that anybody at any time could come around and break the spell, right? They got a spell on the person, right? It's all your fault. It's all you. You the reason
Mhm.
why all this stuff is happening, everything. And so they got that spell on the person, and they don't want no. I was talking about this on another video before. They don't want other people, because other people gonna the person that they got the spell on, that's going to create a mild accountability problem, because every now and then that person is going to say, wait a minute, they're going to say, wait a minute, what's going on? But other people, they ain't under the spell. They just
mm,
gonna be able to come straight to it and say, "Hey, no, this is
mhm,
crazy." What you mean? My daughter can't go and spend time with the rest of her family. We always go to this event. Well, she can't do it no more, right? Or my son, saying that don't want to do what he's asking you. You won't take your shoes off at the front door. That's if you ain't gonna do that. Well, that's us. That's between him and me, not you. Right?
mm,
Like,
Or brother Clarence, how about the biggest thing, especially if they fooled your family with thinking that they this nice person. They
mm,
don't want to be looked at in the eyes now as the bad person that's abusing you. They don't want that exposed. So they, in their eyes, they always want to look good, like they the bad person.
You're
like the
breaking up a
nice
bit.
person that
Oh.
when you introduce your family to them, yeah, they want to be that. That's the memory that narcissistic people always want in the minds of your family and friends, and not
Mm.
the abusive person, if that makes
And let me
sense.
ask you guys something. Let me ask both of you guys something because you guys, we all think different. And so I would like to get you guys answer to this question. I don't know why do you think, besides the obvious about narcissists, where they have a goal they're trying to accomplish, is that is to maintain this massive amount of control, right? But
Mhm.
why why do they do that when you expend a lot of energy by doing that? I mean, I would think it would be much better to have somebody voluntarily wanting to do
Mm.
stuff as opposed to always creating this situation where that person is, you know, is compelled to do something against their will.
Um,
Like, wouldn't it be easier to just get with somebody who wants to do what you want them to do instead of always trying to create the situation where they got to do it because it's going to be hell to pay if you don't?
oh, what about this? What if it's that the way that they see themselves, nobody can fix that, right? So at some point they may be thinking, there's no way you could be seeing me better than I'm seeing myself. So before you get to decide that you see me the way I see myself, let me get enough control where I can keep, I don't know. Like maybe it's that
What was
they're
your
stuck
question?
in how they see themselves.
My
Okay.
question was, Patrice, I'll ask it again, but man, she almost went there. Man, she opened the lid
Okay.
and she closed it back real quick. But we gonna try to go back. All right, my question was, why do you guys think that narcissists actually do this narcissism? Because it expends so much energy. I would think that it would be a lot less expense energy wise to just have somebody who is willing and wanted to do the stuff that you wanted to do, as opposed to always keeping this having this iron fist that you got to keep down on everything. And that to me spends a lot of energy. Would don't I mean, why would they do? I mean, outside the obvious that they want the control, but you can there's people that will give you that control if you just find them. Why do
Mm-hmm.
they
Well,
want to spend all this energy?
well, the thing about a narcissistic people is it they are very impulsive people, right? Like they're very impulsive, they're very undecisive, they're delusional, but in their mind they're not. Everybody else is, right? So again, it is about control, but in order for I'm saying for narc find a very naive and gullible woman, and that's who they tend to make like their main supply. That will be their wife, their living girlfriend, because that's the woman that's taking the most abuse off of them. You when you got people that been in relationships and marriages with narcissistic people for 10, 20, 30 years, they done had children with them, but this person have took them through hell. That's the person that is the person that they already knew wasn't going to go nowhere because they've already misused, cheated on them, lied to them, abused them, and they take them back every time. So a narc knows that about that specific person. So that's the person that they will make their live-in girlfriend or boyfriend or wife, or spouse, because they don't want nobody else to grab that person because they know that they got a lot of control over that person. So they will literally keep that person as their main supply, right? Meaning I'll marry you, because I know you like this really big empathic person that no matter what I do, no matter how much
Mm,
I hurt you,
mm,
you gonna always be there. Remember, Leon said that he knew he had
mm,
women that would always be there no matter what he did to them. That yeah, they'll get mad and they may break up with him and he may break up with them, but he knew eventually if he hovered over them enough,
mm,
stalked them enough, they'd be they'll
mm,
be they'll be right back in his web. And
mm.
narcissistic people know that, bro. So that is definitely the main reason why they act that way and have that type of attitude towards people like that.
But wait, remember Leon said that, I mean, he had a big variety. So it wasn't even like a certain, it was different personalities. I thought that he even said that when it was like a church girl or like somebody from the country, like he felt kind of bad and he wouldn't kind of like he didn't make them so much his target. Those he
Right.
was trying to stay away from. So it sounds like it was, there was a range of personalities, maybe if it's somebody that wasn't like as green, that he saw it as a challenge to get him. So it was like a wide range of personality types and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, but it whether they were empaths or not, it's just like you said. It's a multi-dimensional personality types in women that no matter what. And then like he said, he had the older one was like, yeah, I know you ain't crap, but I'm gonna deal with your stuff. You just come over and break me off some, and then you go on about your business, do you, and I do me. It's women that absolutely will be accept those type of terms and relationships. So he knew he didn't have to do much or give much to those women because they was going to always be there. But then he knew that he would have that supply that he made his wife, that he lived with, the live-in girlfriend. Those are usually, like I said, the long-term supply of women that will have your children, endure so much off of you as the narc because you always go back. You know what I mean? I know I got a girlfriend was in a relationship like that with someone I know, a family member, for over 30 years, and she had a child with that person. And finally, she had had enough after over 30 something years. But look how much of her life she endured, so much pain, so much
Oh,
suffering.
man.
I seen her depressed. I seen it's like the life gets sucked out of you from dealing with that type of abusive relationship until
Wow.
finally she got strong enough to leave. And when I tell y'all, she had to get away from my whole entire family in order to get over that relationship because that person was related to me. She
Wow.
had to leave us all alone, like absolutely no contact at all. And thank God their child was grown. So she had very little contact with this person in my family. That's
Oh,
a
man.
fact. But she had to like not come around anymore. And I at first I didn't understand that. And I was upset because we were close friends.
Yeah.
But I got it now. I so get it that she had to leave everybody that was attached to this person in my family alone in order to get over that and move on. And now she's happily married. You see what I'm
Oh, good
saying?
for her.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
So it will definitely be people that will take women and men that will tolerate a lot more than the next person will. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Why,
continue with the
why did you
video though.
wait, Brother Clarence, why did
I'm
you
sorry.
think? Did you have a thought on why you thought so?
Oh, well,
Because you
I
said
just,
I put the lid off and then put it back on.
yeah, you did. Because I was thinking the same thing, and I was thinking like, it's something in them that, what's the word? It's well, I'm gonna get a little bit off of what I was talking about, what I was thinking, but it's they're insatiable, right? They're insatiable. Now they have a woman in their mind that they want to be able to be with. Now, this is what I talked about this before, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Men are like this, and sometimes women too, but men are mostly like this. This is men are mostly like this, in my opinion. Men want what you are telling them, right? You selling as a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, sister, and you. Well, we need to get married because I can't be living in sin, and I can't be, whatever you selling, right? Whatever you selling,
Mm-hmm.
the man wants to want it, but he don't really want that. He wants to want it, but he don't want it. So if he wants to want it, he'll get in a marriage that he really didn't want, but he wants to want it. He figures at some point I want it bad enough to where I really want it, and I won't just want it because this is what's being presented to me.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a lot of times there's a man will marry a woman and he's not ready for he'll marry a good woman and tear her to shreds because he's an undiagnosed narcissist, or he has some other issue, he has some other type of disorder, something going on, right? He'll tear the woman to shreds, but he agreed to marry her, or he agreed to be in a long-term relationship with her, but he wasn't ready emotionally to do that, right? The exchange that you need to have with a person in a long-term relationship, you got to be emotionally ready for those type of exchanges, right? So if you're not ready for those, how you gonna cope with them, right? Some people avoidance cope, right? Where they just avoid everybody, or some people are what do you call that? What are those people, y'all, that
Codependence.
no, that too, but no. There's people, these, when they coping with stuff, they have these subtle ways of doing stuff, like to sabotage stuff. Oh man, what do you call those people? I was just
Self-sabotage?
nah, man, it's a clinical term that people call, that people that do that, right? That they sabotage stuff, you know, but they're trying to, you know, it looks like they're going with the program, but they're actually underneath the covers. They're sabotaging the situation. Oh man, what do they call those people?
No, I'm not sure.
I'll look it up. But anyway,
Okay.
you know, those people that you know, they people are trying to cope with, oh, I made this decision. I committed to something that I wasn't really ready to commit to, because I don't have the discipline to communicate. I can't apply the discipline to commit to the situation. So they start acting out and doing other stuff. In my opinion, that sometimes when these narcissist dudes, because I can't see it must be just the fun of it, or it must be just the like what you said, the challenge of it, or like you were saying, it's the challenge of just something new, a new supply, a new way of getting it, just somebody new. Can I do this? Like even Leon was saying, can I do this with this person?
But bro, Clarence, you got to remember, Leon also said he knew he wasn't ready to get married when he got married. He said, but he knew she was a good woman, and that was a good look for him. So it's all about having somebody that make you look good to a narcissist, and they may not be ready, but you are a supply that you know that he realized that he don't want nobody else to get. So he married her knowing that he wasn't really ready to get married, knowing that he was still going to cheat, he still was going to lie, he still what he's going to. But narcissists want their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
They want their cake and eat it too. He wants the wife, and he still want to be able to cheat and have other women without the wife having no say so. Without, the wife was supposed to just be docile and accepting of the behavior.
Well,
right?
see, that's where the manosphere goes way wrong. They go way left. They think somebody's just gonna sit there for 30, 40 years and just turn a blind eye to all this stuff. But you don't realize, man, you stoking your own fire, man. Like, man,
a lot of times, though, the women
wood
stay
on your own pot, man.
A lot of times the women stay, bro. I'm telling you, I got some aunties. I've seen some girlfriends, mothers that I know were in very dangerous, physically abusive, verbally abusive, mentally, psychologically, emotional, and they stayed for
Okay,
20, 30 years. And sometimes, they stayed till one of them passed away.
That's the unfortunate part. So that I want to talk about that, because I was watching something this morning that was crazy, man. It was just crazy. Something very similar to that. But
Hey,
first, let's bring Vaughn into the mix. Brother Vaughn.
Absolutely.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother.
Hey, brother, how are you? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I just wanted to hop up and be a part of the conversation,
Of course.
I know this is the closing out of this series, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the finale.
The finale. Yeah. Well, listen,
we bougie folks over here. It's the finale.
I see. Yeah, man. But I've learned a lot. So far, listening to Brother Leon and the different ones that came up. Excellent, excellent information, very informative, and so I'm just here to listen to see how we close it all out.
Okay,
Oh
man.
yeah, well, welcome, brother. Welcome.
Yeah.
We can continue the video, and we gonna stop it and talk as we go. But yeah,
And let
All
me
right.
know if I'm a little bit too loud because I have a different system and I have absolutely no idea how to use any of it.
No, you sound pretty good to me. I don't know about the
you
maybe the ladies, but you sound
you
pretty good to me.
you
All
okay?
right. All right. All right.
All right, y'all. We're gonna go back to Dr. Ramani, and she's talking about the victory of leaving a narcissistic relationship.
Listen, aspirations that you were told you were too old for, or too unskilled to do, or were too expensive, pursue them. Do the things you couldn't do. Do the things you couldn't do that are even little silly petty things, like eat the food that they complained about the smell of, or go to the restaurant that they didn't like but you did, or just leave a towel on the floor after a shower if you choose, or watch reality TV in bed. Whatever it was that they would criticize and devalue you over, do it. Take it back. Number three, victory is really when you learn to stop gaslighting yourself. One of the worst legacies of narcissistic relationships is self gaslighting. It's that internalized voice we all carry of the narcissists in our lives. And sometimes we learn to self gaslight as a way to get ahead of the manipulative and devaluing words of the narcissist. We'd walk around saying things like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so disorganized. Oh, I'm such a pain. I'm so anxious.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
No, that's just you. There's nothing wrong with those things. Once you stop gaslighting yourself, you really have left a big part of the relationship behind. Self gaslighting can include you always doubting your memory, devaluing yourself, assuming you are the one in the wrong. Those negative things we say about ourselves, they're usually not true. We just try to convince ourselves they were, again, to get ahead of the narcissist gaslighting. Number
Yeah, that's huge.
Whoa.
That's huge. That's a
Whoa.
part. That's a part of the residuals of narcissistic abuse. It's a wearing down of your self esteem, your reality, make you question yourself, doubt yourself, make you think that, like, yeah, I'm stupid because he's called you that, or she's called you that, or
Yeah.
you're dumb, or you're ignorant, or you delusional, or like all of those derogatory names that a narcissist probably have called you in the relationship. And also, like she said, things that you enjoyed that you stopped doing because the narcissist said, oh, you need to stop doing that. That's silly. That's ignorant. Why you watch that? Why you do that?
Yeah.
And you stop doing it because the narc don't like it. And it's crazy that like she said, start back doing something you love to do. That narc, like, literally gaslighted you and browbeated you about, and you stopped doing it because you was in a relationship with them and they didn't like it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I got a question for everybody on the panel. Okay. So we were just talking about before we listened to the doctor. We were talking about women that stay in abusive relationships, and typically it's a narcissist is involved in that. Allegedly, right? So my question to y'all is, what are some reasons why women stay in these relationships? I mean, if they're being abused, they're not happy, they're not getting fulfilled, they're not getting nothing out of it, why do they stay?
Well, I'll say a lot of women stay for various reasons,
Agreed.
depending on how long they've been in it, depending on, like I said, if they got children with this person, depending on if they depend on that person financially,
Agreed.
depending on if they feel like that's what they deserve and they can't get any better because they've been browbeaten and said, ain't nobody gonna want you. Look at you. You got 2 kids. Who gonna want you with 2 kids and no education and no, you ain't had a job, and you like, it's so many factors
Color
that can come.
purple, huh?
Yeah, it can so many factors that can come from that. And if somebody keep telling you that over years and years and years and browbeating that in you, to some extent, you start to believe that. It's just like how the effects of music and television and TV programming programs the mind and condition the mind. This person has literally done the same thing to you with the narcissistic abuse. So it's various reasons why women stay in those, and they become codependent. That's one of the main reasons why they become codependent to what they think is normal, especially if them themselves come from an abusive, toxic, dysfunctional background and relationship. If they seen their mother get beat and get treated verbally abused by a man, if they them their whole lives coming up, that's normal to a person's mind. They was talking about that young lady Krishan, the one that's in the relationship with Blueface. And when I listened to her story of how she watched her mother be in an abusive relationship with her father and then other men, that's all she knew. That was normal to her. So it wasn't a big surprise that she picked a guy like Blueface, this rapper who's physically abused her, verbally abused her, constantly lied to her, habitual liar and cheater. He's probably a narcissist himself, but that's normal to her. And people do what's familiar to them psychologically if they have that psychological damage from being in that type of abusive dysfunction.
We think, Sister.
Well, one, I want to make sure that I say man or woman. But I think sometimes people believe that about themselves already, right? So like if you already feel like your worth, and I don't even think sometimes people that don't recognize their self-worth is low, that it's there. They just may have pushed it to the back, or they're suppressing it, or they kind of like work around it. So I think that like, and when I'm talking, I'm saying this like what people do. I'm under we people, okay? So I'm not distancing myself from being vulnerable, or perhaps have experienced or been in a place that I'm talking about. So I want to make sure everybody know I'm not saying this is like I'm distancing myself from being a party to whatever behavior that I'm talking about. But I think sometimes like if a person, let's say if a person grew up and for whatever reason they felt less than their sibling or somebody in their class. Maybe they, like I used to be in elementary school, I was on the math team or whatever. So I mean, we had some competitions, and when we went to a competition, no, this wasn't elementary, middle school. We had a competition, and we went, and everybody got a trophy. I didn't get one that time. I felt so bad, and on the ride back, one of the not so nicer guys that I think like me, but he made sure that he pointed out that that I was the only one that was on the van that didn't get it. Now I had to regroup from, like, I knew that I was good in math. I just, for the particular math one that I was in, I didn't do well up against my competition or whatever. But it took me a second because one, I felt that I was ready and I wasn't. But then I had somebody that's supposed to be on my team, picking at me. So it took me a minute to regroup. Now I know that's different from what we're talking about, but that kind of thing. And that period where I was kind of feeling not as confident in my math skills, I was vulnerable to anybody saying something about me with math. Oh, you don't really know how to do your proofs right or something, So I think sometimes if we have established something that has watered down our worth, it stays there. And if we don't inspect it and confront it, when somebody comes and waters that seed, then it just made that self-worth that we thought we had put away in the treasure chest, it's back now. So now, well, I gotta at least stay with him because see, he at least know that I'm not good in math, but he still loved me anyway. So now you stay attached to that. So maybe that's it. Like, people have already thought certain things about themselves, or there's some things that they want to work on that they don't quite know how to get the help or how to fix it. And then they find somebody that'll take them in spite of that. They feel like, oh man, I won. Somebody likes me for this, kind of trashy thing that I am. This is how they see themselves. So I think maybe that plays a part in it. I think some people, if it's where you've never had like structure or authority figure, that fills a gap or a need that you had. Like you want somebody to kind of be in control of you, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's what I get. No, that's
Okay,
it.
that's good.
Because
No, that's a
really,
good.
it's a huge spectrum, though, right? It could be
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. It
right?
just shows, it does prove
Absolutely.
the point, like Patrice
Yeah,
was saying, it's
definitely.
the various reasons why. But I just wanted to get you guys, vision of why it, what things you guys might have thought of that would have some, because I'm gonna show you something in a minute. That's the reason why I'm asking the question. Okay, Sistine, thank you for that. What about Vaughn? Vaughn, you got any? What do you think? Why do women stay in abusive relationships? I know there's multitudes of reasons, but in
Or
your
men.
opinion,
Or
Yeah.
men.
or men, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of reasons, but I
Mhm.
think one of the major reasons is fear, you know,
Okay.
just that fear, that for their life, actually, if I leave, this individual may just kill me. I'm sorry, or delete me. You see what I'm saying?
I didn't even
So
think about that. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
I think fear is definitely a factor in that equation,
Mhm.
and then they're fearful for other reasons also because if I leave, where am I going to stay? I
Mm,
don't. This is my home.
mm,
Why should I have to leave my home? Plus, I have these children. You see
mm,
what I'm saying? It's a
mhm,
lot of different factors, why some of these sisters stay in these relationships.
mm, definitely, definitely. All right, so I want to show y'all something because a lot of time we talk about women staying in situation, and a lot of guys. Shout out to Bella Bella, by the way. A lot of guys um, don't understand the pressure that can come from, especially towards women, because they say, "Why don't you just leave?" And like Vaughn said, sometimes you just fear for her life, and then sometimes they ain't got no place to go, right? They don't have no support nowhere else, right? Burned all their bridges, or don't have no bridges to burn, right? So because they jumped in with both feet thinking, hey man, this is gonna be a great thing, and it turned out to be a nightmare, right? All right, y'all, let me show y'all something real quick. Now I
Wait, can I
want to,
say something real quick before you show it?
absolutely.
Um, First of all, those are some good points, Bella Bella, in the chat. That's why, that's why I love this channel. It's a better Black life. Because see, when you're talking about that you're going to have topics on finance, it's not just for kids, it's for women, it's for men, so that when you get in relationships or before you get in relationships, that you're financially stable before you get in there, so that you're not so dependent on someone else for your livelihood. You know what I'm saying? So that's why like all of this stuff is going to just thread together at the end of the day. But I saw her comment and I thought that was a good comment.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
ain't no way I'm gonna tell my granddaughter, hey, don't go. Don't follow Kevin Samuels. Don't go to school after 12th grade. Just sit at home waiting, and a good man is gonna come knock. I'm a good man. The Lord sent me over. I'm just here to pick you up. It ain't gonna happen that way. You gotta have yourself together. All right, let's. This is from the famous movie from the '80s, Color Purple, and this gonna illustrate, how a narcissist can, break you down, and over time they have you believing what they're saying about you. All right, we're gonna watch a little bit of this.
Life of the man.
Red has arisen.
I done had enough bad luck. Keep me laughing the rest of my life. Sat in that jail down there about done rot to death. I know what it like, Miss Celie. Wanna go somewhere and can't. I know what it like, wanna sing, have it beat out you. I wanna thank you, Miss Celie, for everything you done for me. I remember that day I was in the store, Miss Millie. I was feeling real down. I was feeling mighty bad. And when I see you, I know there is a God.
All right. Okay. You guys are right. I'm going to bring this down. All right. So, but what I really wanted to do is play Danny Glover. Let me play Danny Glover, and then I'll bring it down. I really want to play Danny Glover. Let's see.
At least we're fussing in the back.
Yeah, right. Always fussing at me. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is what we've been talking about. Okay, this is the part where Celie, Miss Celie, Whoopi Goldberg's character, tells the table, "I'm going with Suge," right? And that's when the narcissist realizes that he's lost control, right? He lost control at this point, right? So now he's striking back. Okay.
Just hush up.
She'll be back. She'll got talent. She can sing. She got spunk. She can talk to anybody. She can stand up and be noticed. But what you got? You're ugly, you're skinny, you're shaped funny, and you're too scared to open your mouth to people. All you fit to do is be Suge's maid. Take out a slop jar and maybe cook her food. And you ain't even that good of a cook anyway.
Well, she's a lot better than that first wife.
Is that Rico?
Yeah, that's definitely Rico, right?
Oh man.
All right. So what did y'all notice? Now, what did y'all notice that he did first before he started telling her about how horrible of a person she was?
Wait, what? Didn't he start out doing that? Because he was saying
no.
Wait, okay, wait. Let me see. Is that a cricket?
He compared her. He compared her to Suge. He first said Suge got talent, you know, and so he was petting Suge against her.
Yeah. Now see, here's what's going on. He's creating this standard that she can never reach. She can never reach this standard, right? But I'm nice enough to be still willing to deal with you. If you go out here in the real world, ain't no man gonna want to be with you.
Yeah, that's the trick right there. Is nobody else is gonna want you but me.
Yeah, nobody gonna want you. Yeah, you might as well stay here.
You know, I'm the only one that loves you. I'm the only one, right?
There you go.
Yeah, the greatest form of
gaslighting that I got to keep you around. That's the only thing keeping you up and running is my mercy that I got, because I got mercy on you. You ain't that good of a cook. You don't do this, you don't do that. But Suge, man, everything going on, right?
Yeah.
But I was trying to show in using this movie how this man was able to exercise all this control, and when he finally lost the control, he tried to strike back, but unfortunately, this is the part that I don't think Kevin Samuels and the rest of those guys in the Manosphere have to understand. Man, when somebody gets fed up with you, they fed up.
Well, the Manosphere didn't like this movie. You know, they bashed it because they said it was a man bashing movie. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of this happened during that time, and a lot of it is still happening when you are dealing with men that are narcissistic, that treat women exactly how Mr. treated Celie. There's a lot of women in relationships like that right today. It's just a different form. It's just more. It's more common. It's more updated, is more conventional, is more with the times, if you will. But back then, Mr. was absolutely a narcissist, and he
Look like
abused
to me.
her. He abused her verbally. He abused her physically. He abused her sexually. He abused her emotionally. He abused her mentally and psychologically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good example of
Yeah.
what a
Now,
person that was a narcissistic personality disorder is, because he he was empty himself inside, so he projected all of what he felt about himself onto Celie, and he literally browbeated her until she finally had the courage to stand up to him and leave and be on her own.
but I don't think the narcissist understands the cycle where in that cycle they're going to, because of all of the because of all their undoing, they're going to simultaneously empower the person by uh, igniting the disgust in them for how the situation has developed. The person is going to get empowered, right? They're going to say to themselves, I can't take this no more. I'm tired of people coming to me saying, girl, what you doing? This man ain't no good, man. You need to get away from him. You need somewhere to stay. You can stay with me. No, it's okay. I'm all right. He's just, he just, right. At a certain point, you get tired of making excuses. Same thing with men, right? Oh, man, it's going to be all right, man. I'll play basketball with y'all next time. And next time never comes, right? You can't go nowhere, you can't do nothing, right? Next thing you know, you cooking all the meals, you washing all the clothes, you doing everything alone and going to work, right? so it just, but at a certain point, like I was telling my son the other day, even a camel's back will break, right? Y'all know how they used to get stuff across the desert, which they called the dirt ocean, right? They called the dirt ocean. They called it some kind of
Bro,
ocean.
these are some of the lucky ones that finally got away. There are many that didn't. They lost their lives.
But
So
that's my point.
we definitely have to be cognizant of, everybody is not so lucky. If you are blessed and lucky enough to get away from a narcissistic abuser, especially if he was physically abusive to you, you are one lucky woman, because or man, but less predominantly it happens to women. So I'm gonna just say that. But all women are not lucky in that way.
Yeah, but yeah, fortunately in that situation she was. But my point is, um, we the problem that comes, and y'all tell me what y'all think. One of the problems that comes for the narcissist is the fact that the person becomes um, less and less sensitive to those unkind remarks that the narcissist is always saying to them, right? And the things that the narcissist is doing to them, they start to develop a callous towards that stuff, and it's not as hurtful anymore. So they got to constantly find more and more things to be hurtful. Now, at a certain point, the person finally says, "Hey, I'm well." In some cases, they get to the point where they say, "I can't take it anymore, and I'm going to make some changes." And at that point, the narcissist may get nervous and may want to do something to try to stop them, either violently or by doing some type of other issue, right? So my question to y'all is, what do you think it is where there's some, like we were talking about, there's some women that say, I gotta go. I don't care what's gonna happen. I gotta go. And then there's some women that just they still stay. Is it a self-esteem issue? Is it what is it that makes them say? Because them on their own, right, saying, I'm just gonna stay and deal with this.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's a self-esteem issue, bro. We had, I said that earlier when I was talking about women that chooses to stay for all those various reasons. But a lot of it be, yeah, definitely the self-esteem is low, and they think that that's all that there is, and that's what they deserve, and that's tend to be women with low self-esteem. Now, women that can see through it and move on immediately, they are the lucky ones that say, "Oh, oh God, heck no, I can't deal with this. I don't care how I love this man or how, I like this man, or what he showed me in the beginning. This side right here, I don't like. And if this is going to be, he's going to be a repeat offender, which narcissistic people do, then yeah, it's good. The sooner you can leave, the better, because you can detach faster, move on faster, and move on with your life quicker. Now, if you tend to be in these relationships longer, it gets harder and harder every time to leave, especially if you leave and go back each time you stay a little bit longer. It takes a little bit more out of you, and a little bit, it's like a slow death, if you will.
Okay, let's go back to the video.
Number four, it's a victory if you don't let narcissists in and you aren't an enabler. Victory means that you no longer make excuses for toxic people. The funny thing about getting out of a narcissistic relationship is that while you are in a primary, or whatever your most time consuming narcissistic relationship is, it's like they are a big shadow that blocks the sun so you can't see anything. So once you get out of a primary narcissistic relationship, it's like that thing walking the light moves out of the way. Now all of the lights sort of come on, and you are able to see more toxic patterns in people around you that you didn't see before. You recognize that maybe you had been enabling some of the gaslighting around you and missing the red flags and the invalidation that were also present in other folks in your life. You were just so focused on the most time consuming narcissist in your life. Part of the victory is to slowly clean house. And you don't have to have a radical smackdown with everyone, but it may be about doing things like distancing a little, setting better boundaries. And honestly, once you start doing that, these lower grade toxic people, they may walk. If you learn only one thing from a narcissistic relationship, let it be to no longer be an enabler or a participant. And a big part of being an enabler is to keep rolling up and being an audience to the toxic person's BS. Don't participate anymore. It means that after the hurt of your sort of primary narcissistic relationship, that you have learned something that will pay dividends for many years to come, and hopefully for the rest of your life. Number five, believe it or not, solitude is victory. You learn to appreciate your solitude. Listen, the messaging out there in the world around being in a relationship at any cost in our society, it's actually a major accelerant for why so many people get stuck in narcissistic relationships. There's so much pressure to be in a stupid relationship. And there's times of years like the holiday that make it worse, that people are like, oh, I can't believe I'm not in a relationship. That need people may have to be in a relationship can leave people ignoring red flags. I want you to think back to the narcissistic relationships that you have been in. I want you to think of the very, very worst times when you're being invalidated and abused or gaslighted or raged at. And then I want you to think about how being alone at those times would have been the best feeling in the world. A major victory after you leave is that you get to be really good with your solitude. Lots of people, when they first get out of the narcissistic relationship, will report a trauma bonded almost pull to feeling kind of lonely, which can put a person at risk for being hoovered back in or to be vulnerable to other toxic relationships and quickly get into another relationship. Solitude doesn't mean you will always be alone, but it means that you realize that you do not need to tolerate toxic stuff for the sake of being in a relationship, because the alternative, just hanging out with yourself, is so much better.
You can stop it right
Number
there, bro.
six,
I think that that's a good point that she's making, because when you do finally get away from the narcissistic relationship, you do kind of go through like a withdrawal, or and you can possibly end up trauma bonding with somebody else, right? Because you're lonely, you may feel sad a certain way if the holiday, especially if holidays roll around and you used to maybe being with that person, or being with them around family or friends or something. But be careful of not rushing to get into another relationship. You need to give yourself that space and that time to grieve and get over that person before you go and jump in another relationship. So I think that was a very good point.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody else?
That just kind of reiterates that point of, you can do bad by yourself.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that she mentioned like where they're even like what you're talking about with the movie, Brother Clarence. Like when somebody starts trying to like, and this is, I kind of deal with this like, or not deal with it. I handle it this way, like in friendships also. When somebody's trying to say certain things to me or about me, especially things I know is not me, like the veil is coming off of them. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you don't see me how I know that I am, then the things that you're saying, or see me the way that I know that you've seen me, and you're saying, certain words, it's just unveiling kind of like who you are. And we gotta be okay with being by ourselves. Like even in a relationship, I think that it's important to like somebody not be your sole source of like livelihood, like not even just financial, but like that you can go do things yourself.
I
Like
agree with that.
loving being by yourself. I'm like a kitty cat with a dust ball in the corner. I can be by myself for a long time. I think that's important, that we appreciate ourselves enough to know that we can go sit in the library sometimes and just sit there by yourself for a little while. Go to the movies by yourself, even in a relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. What about Brother Vaughn?
I think he said he'll be right back.
Yeah, Vaughn's at the dinner table, right?
Send us some food, Vaughn.
Yeah, we gotta learn how to, accept ourselves. You know what I mean? We so busy looking, not you guys personally, but I mean us as a society. It teaches us to, we need to, we need this constant validation from other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I got, and even Kevin Samuel said it. You're not a high value man unless other men think you're a high value man. I mean, so stupid, right? And so, you know, but we always trying to get approval by other people instead of, first we need to get approval of ourselves, right? But like Leon said, most of us are just little kids running around in big bodies, and we don't know what we're supposed to be doing, and we just follow. Instead of following duty and responsibility, we follow desire, and there's a place for desire, but it's not supposed to. Desire is not supposed to overtake duty and responsibility, and that's a lot of what this world try to teach us how to do.
I agree.
Sorry about that. I'm back now.
Yeah, gratification and acceptance, and for other people, and that's what Leon said. A part of his narcissistic personality disorder, is that he always seek validation from other people. The more he climbed the success ladder when he was in the service, the more accolades he got, the more that draw people to you. And narcissistic people feed off of that. So they always want the validation from other people because that's a part of their own insecurities within themselves.
Right.
So I just want to make that point. But Bella is bringing up some good comments. You can also bring up some comments too, brother, and read some of those off.
Okay, y'all let me know what the one y'all want me to bring up. Which one y'all want me to bring up? But first let Vaughn answer. But tell me which one y'all want me to bring up. Mm-hmm. Vaughn, you got it. Did you hear?
You know what? I had got preoccupied, and please forgive me. Okay, but if you could repeat the question again.
Okay, no, we were just talking about what the doctor was saying about loving yourself and not. I mean, it's cool to be in a relationship with somebody, but ultimately you got to be okay with being by yourself, because Now this is my opinion of what she's saying. If you're not, the narcissist or the person that has the control can hold it against you that you don't want to be alone. They can use that against you and make you, not make you, but get you,
Hoover you back in. Hoover you
yeah,
back
and they
in.
can get you to accept this negative behavior, more of this negative behavior, because they know you don't want to really be alone, so they put that in your face. You're gonna be by yourself if I walk out the door, right?
Exactly.
So
So again, that's that fear, you know,
yeah, agreed.
fear of being alone, you know, fear of being separated, you know.
Yeah,
So I mean, this is what caused a lot of people to stay in these relationships.
yeah, yeah.
I,
Now
I agree.
I gotta ask y'all a question real quick, and then we're gonna go back to the doctor. Do y'all think it comes from from childhood? Like as children, we don't want to be left alone. Do y'all think that's something that we bring in from childhood, or do y'all think that's something that we socially accept at a certain point? We say, "Oh, I have to be accepted by my peers."
I think that it can if you suffered any kind of trauma as a child, especially abandonment,
Mhm.
right? If you
Right.
like Leon said, he had the abandonment issues, when his mother separated the family, he had to go live with somebody else and the mother and the sister went somewhere else. So he had abandonment issues. I think a lot of people may suffer from that, in their childhood, but it also can be from, especially if you get older, you worry about being alone, and you want someone in your life and worry about growing old and being alone. That could be an issue. Or it could just be some people just don't think that they are whole and complete without somebody else being there. And that's kind of narcissistic too. Because if I remember Leon saying, narcissistic people hate being alone. That's why it's easy for them to go from one supply to another. They
Mhm.
barely give themselves time to breathe because they get bored easy and they very impulsive. So yeah, you got to be careful with that.
But you know what? Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like when I was, or when we have all been in school. Like, say if it was, you know, who was considered nerds in school and who were considered, like jocks or whatever. And then, you know, maybe the people that were considered nerds, saw all the attention that maybe that the football players, or if you were on the student council, or just something that had a high title or that a lot of people respected, you begin to think that that's the only thing that could be of worth. And if you're void of that, then that can start taking away from your self-worth too. Like if you've allowed other people to decide what the bar is for what's
Yeah,
greatness, and then because you've allowed them to establish that, then you think that you have to be that, but we don't um take the time or remember that. First of all, we talk about like Psalm 139 where it talks about how we were made. Like God made us all the way that we are, and the more we appreciate how we're made up and the way that we're different from other people, until we appreciate ourselves, we're either going to allow ourselves to self-inflict the comparison, or we'll allow how other people compare and tell us how we're supposed to be the driving force. So that self-worth can be inserted as a child. It could be inserted in school, anywhere where you're in around a collective. You're vulnerable to, if you're not, if you haven't built up the strength in yourself to be happy with exactly who you are, flaws and all, then you're really vulnerable. Your self-esteem is forever on the stand. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on how strong you are to be able to come off that stand and be like, I'm still good. I'm not worrying about being convicted. So it's like a lot of this is just like self-worth,
yeah,
and how, the people that we're allowing to influence us,
uh,
our circle. We have to be mindful of our
Yeah,
circle too.
I
Like,
agree
who's
with that. And
uplifting us? Are they uplifting us because of superficial things? Are they uplifting us? And like I I think that we all know each other pretty good now, right? So there's
Hmm.
certain things that you would know that to motivate me or inspire and support me, and it's just the core of who I am. But if you start trying to like get me to like say certain things and do certain things that that I'm just like, nah, I'm not doing that. Now I got to start thinking and inspecting, wait a minute now, you slipping over here. And then you got to start inspecting that friendship, and maybe you need to push them a little bit further out from the circle. So
Right.
when I'm like with my circle, I'm telling y'all it's very small, and I'm good with that.
Me
Me
too.
But
too.
that's something that we have to like, and we have
Me-
to do that constantly. So like it's like every day we got to work to just be better than we were the day before. So if you
Yeah.
slipped yesterday, just like, all right, look, that didn't work out. Um, I let that person, infiltrate. So I got to make sure let me make myself aware that this is how this person got in. So now I got to put that, my radar up better, or my ringtone over there, so I can make sure I can catch people that are coming in from that entrance way or that entry. So
mm.
sorry I rambled just a little bit, but
No, that was good.
Oh,
Listen,
that's good.
I thought that was excellent.
Mhm.
If I could add anything to it, but I think that a lot of people, when we get in these relationships, sometimes we're jumping the gun. We're not even ready. You see what I'm saying? Psychologically, some of us are just not ready for that type of commitment. you know. And when you get in a relationship for the wrong reasons, it doesn't turn out well all the time, you
Mhm.
know. So I would suggest, try to get in a place where you are whole within yourself. You see what I'm saying? And then you have something to actually benefit in the relationship, you know. So I
Yeah.
just say
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, the basic thing is, you got to be a good. You got to work on yourself first. Is how you going to work on a relationship, and it's like working on a table and making sure that the table, the flat part of the table, is the best and has the best design and everything. But the legs don't. The legs are wobbly. It's like, you got to make the legs strong first. And the first thing, then the legs in the relationship is the people, right? And you got to make them strong independently, and then together they make even better. They supposed to empower each other and energize each other. But when you got one person that is constantly draining another person, and they're drained. See, this it makes sense why the narcissists have to have all the supply, because they're like they're vampires. They suck the blood out, they sucking the energy out of this person. They're expending all this energy. They need another person to. They constantly need more people to suck the energy out of, right? Because it's a lot. You expending a lot of energy doing this. This is very energy consuming, in my opinion. All right, anyway, y'all, let's move on to the good doctor, and let's finish off this first video.
Another big victory is you start to let healthy people in. After getting out of a narcissistic relationship, you can really have a skewed sense of what human relationships are about. If there are healthy people already in your life, you may get to spend more time with them. And you're then reminded of how good people can actually be, and learn what empathy and kindness and respect feel like on a more regular basis. To me, this may be the greatest victory of all, that you actually have people around you who see you and who hear you.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that
Number 7, victory means you stop caring about whether the narcissist is happy or whether they have moved on or honestly anything about them. They will move on. It's what they do. It's very, very hard for many, many narcissistic people to be alone. And now that new person in their life is stuck tolerating and experiencing what you went through. Narcissistic people don't really have happy endings, they just have endings. And they keep repeating their cycles forever and forever. And they definitely take any hope of a happy ending away from the other people they have contact with. One day, I hope you'll get to the bliss of indifference, which is the pinnacle, the top of the mountain of narcissistic healing. If you hear the narcissist is doing well and you're indifferent, you don't care. If you hear that they're doing badly, you don't care. You stop looking at their social media. If you hear a bit of gossip, you shrug your shoulders and you just don't care. If you get to this point of blissful indifference, you really got the ultimate win. But I'm always going to give everyone and myself a little allowance for a bit of schadenfreude. We are all human after all. Always feels a little good to hear that they kind of got karma bit them in the ass. Now, victory after leaving narcissistic relationships means that you get yourself fully out of the relationship, not just physically, but your mind, your soul, and your heart. It takes a minute to get here. Rumination needs time to fade. Grief over not just the loss of the relationship, but with the narrative that went with it, that takes time too. Discipline around stuff like not looking at social media or just cutting people out of it, that can be hard to find. Courage to set boundaries with other toxic people, that's a new skill set. And slowly getting to know new people, especially healthy people, can feel like new territory. And starting to actually enjoy being yourself really means pushing back on trauma bonds in a very big way. Narcissistic abuse is one hell of a big, mean, nasty teacher. The victory is to implement the lessons and move forward. I have heard of people being able to do this at the age of 21. I've heard of people being able to do this at the age of 81. I've heard so many stories of victory. It's going to take a minute, but you will get there. I hope you like this video and please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know how victory looked for you in any of your narcissistic relationships. And a gentle reminder, we are starting a healing program on for people who are recovering from narcissistic abuse. It starts this January. Just drop it, click that link. You can give us your email. We'll be sending on more information very soon. And if the program's already begun, when you finally hit the link, you'll be able to be taken to the registration link. So thanks again.
There's
All
one
right.
simple vision hack anyone can use to
Pro plans. Thank you. That was awesome. The reason why I really love this video is that she actually gave you step by step, like tangible things to do. And if you follow them, you really can, start to heal from narcissistic abuse. And that last thing she said about the no contact remind me of Terrell. Stay off they social media. That's what Terrell used to say all the time. And he's right, because you literally have to cut all ties. Again, I understand now why my girlfriend had to cut all ties with anybody that was related to me, my family. And once you've been in a narcissistic relationship with someone, and unless you got a child by them, and then even then you try to keep it as minimal and as precise, and to the point with boundaries as you can, because narcissistic people, if you share children with them, they will try to control that narrative as well. Narcissistic divorces and relationships with somebody that's a narcissist has been pure hell. That person will take you through hell going through a divorce. I heard Dr. Romani tell a story about that, and I know some horror stories myself. So just in closing, I'll say the best way to heal is to absolutely cut all contact. Social media, especially if you don't have children, if you have to get an order of protection, anything to keep that person away from you so you can move on and heal, and go on with your life. If that take you to have to move, if you have to move away, if you have to change jobs, depending on, especially if it's physical, it has it plays a major part. And I've known women to have done that as well, and able to move on and heal. So just want to say that. Good video.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the video?
I thought she made a lot of great points, but I do think it's very, very challenging for an individual who has children, with this narcissistic individual. You know, that makes the situation even more complicated. You see what I'm saying? So this is something that we need to find out about people early off, you know, so that we don't get caught up in these situations like that. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
man, can you imagine? You know, you have to co-parent, you know, and
Yes.
you're gonna have to end up seeing this person for what, the next 18 years, possibly.
At least.
At least, right? Man.
And this is why I try to tell guys, man, you got to be very careful who you sexually selecting, because I don't think women are as bad. They might suffer for it too, but men are more likely to have a problem with the new boyfriend or new person that's around their daughter or son, right? They're more likely to have an issue with that, right? And so it just creates a lot of problems. Now you got to, because this was, I was telling my son, I said, see, now you got to deal with that. Now we got to, well, I was telling him, we all have to deal with the baby's mom, and you talking about somebody that's horrible at sexual selecting. Horrible, man. I mean, just the dudes that she hook up with, man. Whew. Anyway, so I'll tell my son, see, this is why we gotta do what we gotta do, man, because you know, this person is liable to have anybody around this baby, and we can't have that. So, you know what I mean? But he got an issue with the dudes that she be rolling up with to pick up the baby in some dude's car. We don't even know this dude. We don't know where you know what I mean? So I'm just saying that you could create a situation like that where you get involved with somebody, have a sexual relationship with them, and you conceive, and then you have a baby, and now you got to co-parent with somebody who you really don't like, and on top of that, if they're narcissistic, holy smokes.
And the thing that I've seen too, bro, Clarence, is if the female is narcissist and you got children with her, she will take that man through hell when it comes to child support, when it comes to letting them see their child. She literally will use the child as a pawn to try to control the man. Long after they not together anymore, long after they separated, long after the divorce. Oh, there is vindictive women that are narcissistic, that are like that, and they literally don't care. They will use their children, their child, or their kids as pawns against the man, to hurt the man, and not realizing that they hurt their children more than anything. And that's the sad part.
And so my thing is, how can we protect ourselves from these type of people? Because there's some bad people out here, right? There's bad people, and it doesn't, and they don't feel bad for being bad, right? Like Leon said, I didn't feel bad at all. You know what I mean? I was like, the more you cry, the more I feel empowered, right? So there's some bad people out here, and they do not feel bad about being bad. So shame is not going to change them. Nothing
Yeah.
probably is going to
Oh,
change
yeah.
them until they get to the point where they decide for themselves they don't want to be like that for whatever reason. They hit the wall, they just can't do it anymore, their looks are gone, whatever, it stops them, they just can't do it anymore. And they're not getting what they used to get out of it. So, but we have to protect ourselves. So one of the ways that we can protect ourselves, especially when we get to know somebody, like Vaughn was saying, in the beginning, we have to ask questions, right? You have to ask questions. Now, sometimes a person will say, well, that's none of your business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That is something.
Find another question to ask, or ask it in a different way, or maybe address it later, but stay apprehensive. Stay, still, not allowing yourself to get sucked in so fast, especially if you being love bombed so fast. I think again that can be a red flag in and of itself, right? So you have to be able to be cognizant of that and know that, go with the flow and enjoy the ride, but don't let a person rush you too fast with the love bombing. Not to say that every person that does that is a narcissist, because again, you in the beginning you have no way of knowing that, because the narcissist is showing you a representative of who they really aren't. remember, these are not who narcissistic people are. They are just acting and portraying a person. They're going to show you the real person later on, but you don't know that. So again, you got to be able to, again, take it slow. And even if you feel like this person is not a narc, but you feel like they going really fast, it's okay to slow it down. And if they not getting upset with you saying that, if they not leaving when you saying that, if they not getting offended when you saying that, when they pull back and say, okay, you're right, let's pace it a little bit slower, then 9 times out of 10, that person is probably not a narc. But a narc, on the other hand, when you start saying, hey, slow down, don't do that, you setting up them boundaries early on in the relationship, they're going to have a problem with that. They don't like boundaries. They don't like being told no. So those are some of the things you can watch for in the difference between a narc and a non-narc person when you're first dating them. That's just my humble opinion.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, that's why I'm saying that the only thing you really got to kind of try to ferret out what's going on is being able to ask questions. I mean, that's really the only defense you got. So you can try to ask questions, and you know, besides just having your eyes open, right? You got to have your eyes open when you see things that are weird. What? Why did they say that? Why did they do that? You know what I mean? You got to keep your eyes open so that you can see, because like you said, they're gonna portray this person. They're gonna give you a Oscar winning performance, right? But every now and then, the mask is gonna fall off every now and then, right?
One thing I remembered, and when Leon said it, and then I heard the other guy that I watched that's a narc on his channel, and I heard Terrell say it. That's 3 people, and 4 with my ex narc. I've heard when they come in immediately, almost immediately, and tell you about their trauma themselves and what they went through. Normally, you thinking, you know, wow, you know, they went through all of this and they survived, and you kind of like feel empathy for them. But that's a red flag, guys.
Yeah.
That is now a red flag. When they immediately tell you, I would say within the first 90 days, when they immediately tell you about their trauma, that's a red flag. I remember Leon said he did it. Terrell said his narc did it. My narc did it. And this other guy that I watched that's a narc on his channel, Lee Hammock, he said it, that they would immediately tell people about their trauma and things that they experienced and been through. And I was trying to look at it in a way of, empathizing, seeing that person had been through something and thinking they're a survivor and things of that nature. And I'm going to try to not be judgmental about some of the other things that they have told me about themselves, even though they said, oh, well, I did that a long time ago, or I did that in my first marriage, or something like that. And we try not to judge people, we try to give people a chance or whatever. But when they immediately come and say those things to you, again, in the first 30 to 90 days of a relationship, that's just be careful. That's possible red flags there.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you my opinion. My opinion, you got trauma that may affect the relationship. I definitely want to know that as soon as possible. As soon as, I mean, maybe not the first day, right? Because, you're just trying to see if there's chemistry.
I would say, wait, now y'all,
but bro,
that's like, it's 2
that,
different things.
You know what I thought? Hold on. You know what I thought? Why didn't I ask him, did he get therapy? Why didn't I ask him?
That's what you were supposed to do. He was waiting to see what you was going to do.
That's what I said to myself. I thought, why didn't I ask him that? I just immediately felt empathy and just looked at him and said, wow, he survived that. Yeah. But why didn't I follow up with, did you get therapy? How did that work out for you?
That would have definitely been a good question.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yep.
What were you going to say, Suzanne?
See, now this is confusing, because
in
one breath, because in one breath, Patrice is saying if they tell you in the first 30 to 90 days, and then Brother Clarence, you're saying you want to know right away. So it's kind of like there's no exact science to this. Like you could have somebody who comes and they're just comfortable in how they talk, or like when you think about some of these content creators, when I hear them on the channel, I hear them talking about their life, they talk about it like kind of freely because they're comfortable with just saying it, or they feel like, oh, let me say it before somebody else finds it out or says it, so they say it right away. So then would someone then take that to say, oh, this person is probably a narcissist because they said this right away? Like that's why, like when I was listening to Leon, I was listening to Terrell, I'm listening to you, OG Patrice, I'm listening for behaviors, the names and stuff, all that kind of stuff. I can't, like, it doesn't matter if this person is called a narcissist, a cornball, a lily pop, whatever the name is. These behaviors don't feel good to me, so I'm just monitoring these behaviors.
Lily pop.
Because no, but I think that for me, I can't get caught now on like, oh, if he does this and then this, then it's this. I gotta just kind of definitely with prayer. I gotta pray for discernment. Thank you, God, that I'm not going to the grocery store hungry, so I'm just picking up anything. Yeah. So I'm not rushed for anything. I don't feel like, listen, if God allows me to have 2 amazing years with a husband, I'm good. Like, I don't feel like, oh, if I didn't find somebody 10 years ago, then I don't have this 80-year marriage like some other people. No, I'm just happy that I'm happy. When I'm happy, I'm happy. But this, like, it's almost like it'll say something, or one doctor or one person to say one thing, and then 2 minutes later, then it'll be something slightly different. So you don't know which way to go.
Right.
Well, sister, I wasn't saying it to confuse you, because what I
it's not your fault. No, don't apologize for that.
No. I was saying that I talking from my experience, saying that when he said that to me, kind of quickly into the dating process, I should have took onus in that part and followed up with the question of, well, did you get therapy, and what happened, and what was the results of that? Like, even if it's coming fast and it may not be a narcissist, it's still okay to ask the questions, right? It's about knowing the right questions to ask and when to ask them. That's all I was thinking about my own situation in that. Because I get it. It can be confusing because we saying, oh, if they do say this or do this too fast, that's a red flag, which it can be. But then in some cases, it don't have to be when it's not a narcissist. That's why I think consistency of taking your time and asking the right questions and following up with the right questions and looking for the behavior and the reaction after you ask the questions. I think that's very telltale.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, Miss Lady. Don't you be apologizing to me when you you're trying to be on this panel.
No, because you said you was confused. I'm like, wait, I didn't mean to confuse. That's
actually, it's not your fault. It's just, to me, it's proof positive that it's not a perfect thing, and everybody,
right,
it's not so easy to figure it out. You just gotta, like, it's okay to ask questions. So that's one thing that, like, what both of y'all are saying, that is being emphasized. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay, especially if there's somebody you thinking about potentially being in a long-lasting relationship and marrying, and you think, and forgive me if this don't come out right, but there's somebody that's gonna see you naked. There's somebody that's gonna see your facial expressions. There's somebody that you're gonna be praying and laying together with. There's somebody you gotta be sharing your finances with. This is somebody when you go through tough times that you gotta be with. Yeah, you get to ask some questions. I get to try, and I sometimes don't have to ask a question. I'm gonna let you talk yourself into what you're trying, what you're not trying to reveal, because I don't have to ask you if you're selfish for me to notice that you're selfish. You know what I'm saying? So asking questions, but getting your radar sharp, clean that glass off, y'all, so you're not looking through it from a desperation place, like where you're really saying, okay, look, All right, this day he said this.
Yeah.
All right, 2 weeks later he said this. Like me, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. That fussing and stuff like that, my spirit doesn't like it. Not saying that, listen, I ain't perfect. I don't, sometimes I'll be like, oh, get my tone together. But just on a consistent thing, that's not something that I'm comfortable with. I won't be in my personal life, I'm not around people that just keep fussing like that. I won't be on a panel that does that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just not comfortable for me. So if somebody speaks to me that way, like fussing and stuff all like that at me, nah, it's only a few, I can't do that, especially if it's like yelling, all that stuff. That's something that doesn't fit for me. That's not saying that that's a bad thing in certain relationships, because sometimes you got to turn the volume up a little bit to get things together. But I'm just saying, like, there's some things that, like, when I notice, it's like, that's not good for me, because I'm not in my best. I can't be my best self when I'm matching that energy, because if somebody's getting too loud, now I feel like I got to defend and I got to talk a little bit louder, and we're not hearing each other. So, but no, y'all are saying exactly what y'all need to say. But just in sometimes, sometimes it's they're gonna mix together. It's like that Venn diagram. This is this and this is this, but sometimes they kind of meet in the middle. So
okay.
Well,
I was just saying sorry in general, not like apologizing to you, but just saying sorry in general, because I know it can be confusing. That's all I was saying. But we got to be able to decipher
it varies. It varies, though. It varies. It's not the same in every situation.
Hey, Pat.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Each individual who is suffering from this type of behavior, they may have different responses and different actions. You see what I'm saying? So it's not, like you said, it's not cookie cutter, where it's all the same. It comes in different forms, different shapes. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be keen enough to recognize it, though, because see, it's in the non-recognition of it that gets you tripped up a lot of times.
Yeah, that's a good point, Flan, because that's the thing. These narcs are always adapting. They're adapting to the situation. They're adapting to the situation. Now, I'm going to explain about me, and the reason why I say I prefer to know stuff in advance, right? Because I don't really like surprises, and so if they have an issue, now, do I want them to tell me their whole life story? No, but if they have an issue that's going to affect my relationship with her, then I'd like to know about that, right? Those are the kind of things that I'd like to kind of know. Now, maybe I don't need to know the most severe things on the first date, right? Come on the first date with a book, big old notebook, put it down on the table, right? Yeah, let me go through my childhood, and then let me go through the junior high. No. What I mean by that is first date.
Bro, put yourself on full screen when you're talking. Whoever.
Oh
talking,
yeah, that's right, huh? All right. So, when you going on a first date, maybe first 2 or 3 dates, you're just trying to see if there's chemistry. If the last date wasn't a fluke, it's kind of chemistry. Now, once you establish that there's some chemistry, then I think the door is more open to start getting into more severe stuff, right? That may affect the relationship. Because what's the point in telling somebody about something at this point that's not going to affect the relationship? To me, that doesn't make any sense either. What makes sense to me is, okay, you establish that you got some chemistry, that you might be interested in this person, right? Okay, now it's time to tell them whatever it is that may affect the relationship. Hey, buddy, this is why I'm staying celibate, because this happened, or I had this experience, or whatever, right? Or this is why I don't have no money. I just went through this horrible divorce, right? This is why I'm living with my mama. I ain't no deadbeat. I'm living with my mama because I just went through this divorce, right? So some of the things we're gonna have to tell them up front, and we just gonna we have to what's the word? We just got to be upfront with people with stuff that's going to affect the relationship, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Anybody else got any opinion before we watch the next video?
I just think in the first couple of maybe 2 to 3 dates, you don't have to get that deep, because you literally trying to see if the attraction and the chemistry
Yeah,
is there.
right.
I think you
Agreed.
can have casual conversation, job, talk about it. Maybe if you got kids or not, family, where they grew
Right.
up, where they from, where they parents from. You don't
Right.
have to go that deep to me in those first 2 or 3 dates, because something may happen in there that is a deal breaker for you. Then you don't have to worry about going into this long soliloquy about the deeper conversation, because then you'd be like, okay, well, I ain't feeling this guy's not vibing. That could be after the first date, could be after the second date, could be after the third date,
Right.
depending. So I think the deeper conversations come pretty much behind that. If you seeing that you digging this person, the chemistry is there, the attraction is there, and it's on both ways. Now we can get into the more deeper conversation. But I think like the first 3 conversations should be pretty much kind of casual, because you're still trying to feel that
Yes,
person
sir.
out.
Thank you. Okay, Patrice, but I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I admit that some things we can wait. Some things that we can wait, but some things that need to be told up front. And
yeah, because like I said, there some things can, because
right.
they may be deal breakers for that person.
Why didn't you tell me you had a wife? Right.
Duh.
Right.
Yes.
I was just trying to see if we had chemistry first. I was trying to see if we had the chemistry.
Well, that could be a conversation. Like I said, when you get more into the family stuff, you can ask them, hey, are you, because they may say I'm divorced. They may say I'm separated. You may have an issue with that. I know for me, I waited until, my not this ex, narc ex, but the one I was in the relationship with for like 2.5 years. I was like, well, come back at me when you divorced, dude. Like, because to me, separated still mean you're married.
Yeah,
that's just in my head. So, and you never know during that time if that person may go back to their spouse.
Yeah, and most likely they will.
A lot of times that has happened. So I don't do the separation thing. And how long you been separated? And it was like, oh, well, we've been separated for 18 months and we're going through a divorce. I said, okay, when that clears, then come back out. You know what I mean? Because that, to me, in my brain, that solidifies it. Other than that, dude, you're still married. You're not. So of course, those type of conversations, again, family, kids, you want to work, because you may be like, hey, I don't want nobody that got small kids. My kids are grown out the house. I want somebody that, going to be able to give me quality time and not have to worry about baby mama drama or whatever. Like casual conversations like that, to me, could be in the first 2 to 3 conversations. And then if you see where you have that conversation again, hey, are you, how you feeling about this? Would you like to continue, to date, further? And if you both agree as consenting adults and everything's going good and you have no deal breakers, they have no deal breakers, now we get into the deeper conversation.
All right. So I'm just, because in my opinion, there's some things that we need to get up front. You're not married, right? You're not married, are you? You don't have no PPOs out on you. Certain things that we should have up front that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So that's now, like, and I agree with you.
Do you have a criminal record? Do you have a
criminal record? Maybe not the first
that's
day.
That's definitely one right there.
Maybe you could start talking about stuff like that when you're starting to really feel this person. You say, okay, let's talk about these deeper issues. But definitely, is there anything outstanding at this point right now going on right now that I need to know about, right? That could jeopardize my safety or my health, right? Because if I'm running around with you and there's a protective order out on your ex-boyfriend or your husband that you separated from, got a protective order on, not good, right? Hey, and sometimes, and like I was saying this on this last video I did, you can't blame a person for looking at asking you questions, trying to have to preserve their personal safety, right? They may leave because you gave them some information that threatens their personal safety, and they say, hey, I don't even know you that well to be involved with this big mess you got going on over here. When that clears up, like what you said, when that clears up, give me a call. But right now, I don't want to be involved in that situation, right?
But then
So,
again, bro, Clarence, I don't want to like really be liking the dude, and then 2 to 3 months down the road, we have a conversation about him having a criminal record or having a order of protection taken out on him because he's been violent towards the ex or another woman or
that's what I'm
women.
saying.
Yeah, so because that's a deal breaker for me. So I don't want to get that far down the road and be digging him and be liking the guy and then find this out. Like I kind of want to find that out early, right?
Okay.
So maybe
Okay, so
having
you're
that
gonna
conversation of like, listen, you can also do your own investigating, right? In the conversation, you can, once you know the person's first and last name, you may talk about birthday, how old they are, and you can figure that out and do your own background check on people. I have done that. So
but sometimes, Patrice, sometimes they fighting the case currently, and you
but
don't know unless you ask.
but doing that background check, you can find that out, and you can find out what
No,
it's
you
for.
might not though. That's what I'm saying. You might not see it because
You-
it haven't been. Everything hasn't
Are
been
you saying
logged
it
in
might
all
be
the
too
way yet.
fresh? Brother Clarence, you're saying it might be too fresh, right?
Yes,
In order
you know
for
what I'm
you
saying. You know what I'm saying. I was watching
Yeah.
something. This is why I'm saying this. I was watching something, and this lady took her daughter to a carnival. It's on the East Coast somewhere. This is years ago, and she took her daughter. Man, they had a good time. They met this dude. Up there. He was, from the neighborhood and everything. And so, he had. They met. I don't know if I probably told you guys the story. Where he wanted to get a girl a Mother's Day. He wanted to get a lady a Mother's Day present, right? He said, "Hey, let me take your daughter. We want to give you this Mother's Day present. We got it at my house. I'm gonna take it to my house." He takes the girl, and they don't come back. An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours. Now it's midnight. They left about 4. And the girl's not back. So the mother goes to the address that the guy gave me. It's an abandoned building, right? Her heart drops, right? So my point is, and all the while, this dude currently was fighting some ARP charges, right? But she didn't check that out, right? She didn't ask that question, right? Because he was so nice, right? You said, like you say, treat the love bombing, right? He was so nice. He was nice, and you rode on the rides with him and did all this other stuff with him. Kind of find out, dude's a serial, unaliver, right? And they finally caught him. But it was just like and matter of fact, he had pulled in a girl to come with him and do it with him. It was so bad. So I like to know up front. Now, at what point do you ask a person about their criminal history? The first date? Hi, how you doing? My name is Patrice. Yeah, I've been arrested.
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say
you might want to be a little careful. You
I
might
would
want to be
say-
a little careful though, because you might just run the individual off.
Exactly.
You
I
see
wouldn't
what I'm
say that.
Well,
I
no,
would
you
say
want to
the
use
first
tact, Brother
date.
Clarence. It's okay to use tact, right?
Yeah, use tact. Now, I definitely use tact. I don't think you should be disrespectful. I'm not saying you got to be disrespectful to the person. You should definitely be as tactful and respectful as you can be.
Exactly.
But also, you got to get this information for your own personal safety. Am I getting involved with somebody who can't control themselves if something should go not the way they want it to go? Right.
Well, you should definitely get the information. So, I mean, I don't disagree with you on that point. But, for these sisters who are out here and, they may be dating, you don't want to run the brother off. Sister Inay, did you hear me? Don't run the brother off.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. What do you mean by running people off? What are y'all talking about, running somebody off? What do y'all mean by that?
Well, sometimes these questions that you ask, if you're too forward with them, it may be a red flag to the person that is trying to pursue you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Some people find, okay, well, wow, how you just bombing me with all of this? You see what I'm saying? All at once, Can we just finish sipping the coffee or get to know each other a little better? Let the conversation roll. Do you have
so
to
when
know
do we ask,
everything
Juan?
like that? Huh?
When do we ask?
Well, you ask in the interim of courting. You know what I'm saying? You ask a couple of things on one visit. Maybe the next visit,
Yes,
you
I
ask a
agree
few
with
more
that.
things.
I agree
You
with
see what
that.
I'm saying?
As long as you get the information, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to just bomb somebody with
No.
bombard them with, a lot of questions like that. Because I'd be like, I might as well just leave her right here at the table. You got me mixed up with some other people.
No, I would be slick like Patrice. Oh, you a Taurus? Oh, you was born in May. What day? Oh, May 1st. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. My cousin was a Taurus.
You how old? Oh, so that means you was born in 1963 or 4.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Kennedy got shot that year. Oh, yeah, I know now. Okay, right. Yeah,
well,
here's
like
here's the thing, though. Smart. But see, women are much more smarter, man. Men, we just dumb. Hey, girl, where you been? What you been up to? Right? We just ask that directly, right? And they be like, how many men you been with? And I want to list right now. Last name first, right?
All these crazy questions, But I would suggest, let the ice break. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. You got
to use some tact.
Yeah, we got to use tact. You definitely got to use tact and respect.
And there's nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with it either.
Yeah.
Use a little tact.
I agree with that, Brother Vaughn.
But
everything in moderation.
Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open at the same time.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, you see,
and we women are good at playing detective. We have a roundabout ways of getting information.
Oh, man.
A lot of times I have even like when I was younger, dating guys and meeting guys and stuff, like me and my girlfriend, and we would go out. We had this thing that we do. We go out, for the first time with a guy. I made sure me and my girlfriend would make sure we knew the guy's name, first and last name. We have took pictures of their license plates and stuff. If they picked us up for a date and we told them, hey, I'm meeting him or he's picking me up and we going here. If I'm not back home by this time, like we had codes, we had a way that we, made sure that we let each other know what we were doing and who we were going out with, where we were going. And hey, girl, if I ain't back in 3 hours, after dinner and the movie, if I ain't back, we got a code. She would call or text me and I would go in the bathroom, and talk to her or text her in the bathroom, let her know I'm okay, how it's going. And if I'm still on the date and we headed home and things of that nature, took pictures of the license plate. I'd be like, when he ain't looking, took pictures of the license plate, this the car he drive. No, seriously, me and my girlfriend literally done that. And I say, hey, this is the license plate. This is the kind of car or whatever I'm in.
Yes.
Especially if he was coming to pick me up for the day.
Yeah. And see, now that is the difference in when you're going out with women and when women go out and when men go out. When men go out, men rarely do something like that when they're going out with a woman. Rarely, right? Because they are not typically as concerned about their personal safety as women. Women have to be more focused on their personal safety. Yeah, I'm feeling you and all that, but you could trip at any moment. So I got to be ready to handle that. So
exactly.
So I would think that they would be more interested in kind of seeing where things are going much faster than a man is, because a man is just like, hey, I'm gonna talk her into those draws sooner or later, right? I'm gonna just keep whatever she want me to say, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I used to fly airplanes and I sold cell phones. Yeah, I do it all. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're trying to impress the woman, right? But for us, it's more about that safety. And I would suggest, honestly,
she do her homework.
with things today, I would suggest that young ladies get back into that mold, that kind of mold of that old school way of that, like me and my girlfriend did, just to have that protection.
Buddy system, right?
Yeah, the buddy system, because I don't know why now people don't, they want to be so private about certain things. And then you wonder why women come up missing a lot of times. And the family don't know that, this girl that's on the dating site have been dating these guys. And you have to do all this homework and track record and detective and police involved. And, we've heard stories of where girls has come up deleted from meeting guys on dating sites.
I just was watching one this morning about, because I get up early before I go to work and I'll be watching some of them. And I was watching one this morning about this trans chick trans chick that was out there in Atlanta or Cincinnati, one of them, where she was out there and she was on this dating site, went out with this dude, and never was heard from again, right? And it's like, man, everybody had to get involved, and they finally, found out that the dude that she went on a date with unalived her. But man,
Yeah. Yeah,
this
I've
is
heard that
crazy out
story
there.
so many times that has happened. So I definitely believe in the buddy buddy system, and I think we kind of need to bring that back, especially in the world of dating. And it's a lot of narcissistic people on dating sites.
Yeah.
Hello, that's where I met my ex narc.
Yeah. Now,
They
why? Now that's a good question, Patrice.
But do you
Why
really
are
think
they
that
on the
those
dating
dating
sites?
Do you think
What's
that they're
that?
safe though? I don't think that they're safe. I don't think those dating sites are that safe.
Well,
Don't
they
sound
can't.
like to me.
They can be safe.
I mean,
Depending on.
because listen, you never know what you're gonna get.
I think that's right, Bella. I think you're right.
That's if I met somebody at church or in the grocery store. It's the same thing, or the club or the lounge, or you never know what you're gonna get. I can meet them at a restaurant or a funeral or a wedding. You never know what you're gonna get. That's no
Yeah, but
matter where you meet the
I
person.
think you're more likely to get some nuts, through the internet. Now
Oh,
that
I
just could be
agree with
my
that.
opinion.
I
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah. I think you're just more likely to find some crazies.
That's why you got to be
You know.
careful, and that's why a lot of them on there because looking for
Yeah,
because
right.
they got issues. That is true. So you
And
definitely have to be careful.
there's no fail safe. There's no protections, right? They can be who they want to be, and there's nobody checking the ID at the door, right? They can just
Right.
be whoever
And
they want to be.
we all live like really, really busy lives, and it's just hard to meet people these days, as formal as you used to if you're just busy and working and in spaces where you're not meeting people, because I don't like to date people at my work. So you know what I mean? So my chances of meeting single men my age is very limited. So of course, more people are going to dating sites because they lead busy lives and careers, and they
Right.
just don't. And I'm not in the clubs no more trying to meet nobody. Like you know what I mean? It's just certain things in my life where I'm not in spaces to meet people. And then when I was busy in the entertainment industry, I think I dated two guys that was in the entertainment industry. Y'all met one, I interviewed him, and then it's another one, and because I saw the narcissistic personalities in them now that I think about it. So I chose to date like regular smegular guys, right? Even when I was in the entertainment industry, because I watched those guys be some of the biggest, whores, 304s, male 304s ever,
Yeah.
and watched how they moved and did women. And a lot of them were married men at the time. And they
Yeah.
got 2 or 3 groupie women that they, screwing around with, come to the club. The women getting all into a fight over a married man. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you can't, no, yeah.
Yeah. It's now in those guys' defense,
Mhm.
if you're not rock solid in who you are as a person, if you're not rock solid, when you get presented with a abundance of something that you think is good, or it proves that you're a man, or proves something about you, or you think other people gonna think you're a man, you might more be likely to take it, right? See, because people say, oh man, this person did this, that. But hey, what would any of us do if we were presented with an abundance of something that we really thought this was that thing is a good thing, right? In men's mind, most men, we've been conditioned, listen to me good, we've been conditioned to think that women are the goal. A woman is the goal. Same thing for women. You've been conditioned to think that a man is the goal, right? A man is the goal, when actually we're supposed to be pushing a message. We're supposed to be pushing the love that God gave us, right? That's what we're supposed to be pushing. Whether we got our own family or other people out there, that's our mission. But we think our mission is, hey, you not complete unless you got a man. You're not complete unless you got a woman, right? And those things are good if you ready to handle them. It's like anything else. sometimes you get a woman and you ain't ready for this woman because she's so good, right? It's just like your car, right? You can get a car, good deal on a car. You ain't even got a license yet. You ain't even got a permit, but you got the car, right, sitting in the driveway, right? And my oldest boy did that before, right? He bought this car. I said, man, you bought a car? I said, you bought a car? He said, yeah, I bought a car, Pops. I need you to come over here and drive it home for me, right? Right? I had to go way over to Cal State LA and go get this car and drive it home for him, right? But because he had no license and nothing. And then he ended up giving the car, selling it to somebody, right? But my point is, he wasn't ready for it. It was a lot more responsibility than he thought it was, right? He thought it was he was just going to be, hanging out with his homies, driving his car.
He thought he was going to be diamond in the back.
Yeah,
talk,
that's what he
digging
thought.
the scene with a gangster lean. Ooh.
He didn't know he was going to be having to run around every Friday to move the car because the street sweeper was coming out there, right? And he had to park 3 blocks down the street, right?
It's a responsibility now. It's a responsibility.
All right, y'all. Let me play the last video, man, because the EP is looking at me like she looking at me with her good eye. Let me go and play this last video. All right, y'all. Here we go. This is Dr. Romani once again.
Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Romani. Welcome to this YouTube channel on all things about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We upload new content on narcissism and narcissistic abuse every day. Please hit that subscribe button and please join this amazing community. You'll often learn more from their comment section than from the video. We get hundreds of questions per week, and then probably hundreds more in the comment sections on the video and through social media. Many times the questions repeat, as you could imagine. So periodically, I'm going to use this YouTube channel as a forum to answer these questions. So since clearly many of you are asking some of them, and I'm hoping that this could be a useful way to get them answered for everyone. So the question we're going to be tackling today is, what type of therapy is best for recovery from narcissistic abuse?
Sometimes the lows of bipolar depression feel darkest before dawn. With
a person may feel as though, like, okay, I feel like I get this. I understand narcissism now. I feel like I understand narcissistic abuse, but I don't know how to move forward from the rumination and all the rest of it. This is such an important question. And I agree. At this point, if you've been watching this channel long enough, I got to tell you, most of you basically have the equivalent of a graduate degree in narcissism. You probably know more than a lot of therapists. You know what it is, where it comes from, how it impacts people, what the dynamics look like. You get it. But the bigger question people have, I understand narcissism, I understand narcissistic abuse. The big question is, what do I do about this? As of now, there is no one therapy for narcissistic abuse per se. Now, in my work in this, I've actually developed a model that I've found works really well with individuals who are recovering from narcissistic abuse, and that really any therapist can use. So let's start by taking on what a client needs in therapy, what you need to sort of look for in therapy when you're trying to find a pathway to recover from narcissistic abuse. Number one, you need a therapist who gets it. At this point, lots of therapists as of now don't. And that's in large part because nothing even approximating this is taught in any graduate school or clinical training. It's a relatively new area. Ironically, these issues around difficult relationships and trauma, they've been around since forever. But systematically addressing it from this perspective of focusing on narcissistic abuse is new. And I got to tell you, there's still lots of pushback from the mental health field.
Stop it right there, Bro Clarence. I want to reiterate the importance of what she just said. She just said, even though you have many, many therapists, and as long as this trait of narcissistic personality disorder has been around, did you hear her say is minimum to a lot of therapists? So picking the right therapist is of the utmost important. And she's going to go a little bit more into detail with that, because a lot of times we think a therapist is a therapist is a therapist is a therapist, but no, that's not true. It's just like any form of medication, say like high blood pressure medication. Most people that have high blood pressure probably has went through 4 or 5 medications before they found the right fit for them. That's how it is with a therapist when it comes to narcissistic abuse, because most of them are highly educated and knowledgeable in other areas, but not so much with narcissism. So please make sure that if you plan to get therapy, you make sure that this therapist is educated and aware of and experienced in narcissistic abuse. That's all I want to say. You can go on.
All right. All right.
To be critical of a person who shows up to therapy and says that they have experienced narcissistic abuse. More than a few therapists will say, well, you shouldn't diagnose your partner or your family member, and that each person in a relationship is responsible for what is happening, or that, well, we can't really say they're narcissistic because they're not here to share their point of view. So let's just focus on your role in all of these problems. Or the therapist will say something like, well, all marriages are hard. So I'd love to hear from you on that one. Drop a comment. Did any of you ever see a therapist that you felt didn't fully understand narcissism or narcissistic abuse? What was some of the invalidation you may have experienced in therapy? But it's absolutely important, going back to this point, that you need a therapist that understands the dynamics of narcissism and of narcissistic relationships and does not engage in blaming you or pathologizing you when you are describing dynamics such as gaslighting and love bombing and trauma bonding and all the rest of it. Frankly, you shouldn't have to be your therapist's teacher. While a therapist out there are many, many therapists out there that don't position themselves as an expert in narcissism or narcissistic abuse. One thing to keep in mind is that therapists who have a background in trauma or trauma informed practices, they often do understand the critical importance of principles such as validation and avoiding blame. And
The Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. Earn 2% cash back on what you want, like a brand new bike. And 2% cash back on what you need,
I think you missed a spot.
like sunscreen. The Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. That's real life ready.
Really? This your plan for movie night? Yeah, I got rid of our cable internet.
So we're poaching your Wi-Fi.
Closing time.
You know what's a better plan? Switching to Verizon Home Internet starting at $35 a month. No surprise price hikes, no annual contracts. It's your home. It's your Verizon.
such informed therapists understand that these kinds of patterns leave you confused and doubting yourself. And then to give you the time and space you need to make sense of these toxic relationship dynamics, to grieve them, and to figure out what you want to do and how best to cope. Number two, you need a therapist who doesn't get so focused on the theory behind their treatment model, for example, cognitive behavioral therapy, that they do not make space for the unique aspects of narcissistic abuse. As an example, cognitive behavioral therapy is very much focused on teaching a person to change how they think, with the intended effect of then changing how they behave. Now, this
Stop it
may
right
work
there.
and it works well when the behaviors.
I think that if you're not picking the right therapist, basically what she's saying is the therapist can kind of gaslight you in a sense. Like when you're telling them, hey, I was in an abusive relationship with a person that's narcissist, the therapist will think just because you don't have a degree or educated in it, they will say something to you very nonchalant as, oh, well, you shouldn't judge this person, you shouldn't say that, and you're not experienced or whatever, just because they are. So I think that speaks volumes and why it's so important to make sure that you're picking the right fit for a therapist for you.
All right. We're going back to the video. Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Are solely
sir.
related to a person's belief. But when you're working in the area of narcissistic abuse, we need a framework around the narcissistic abuse, right? narcissism is resistant to change, that gaslighting is a very real phenomenon. Because there is a risk of putting the onus on the person who is experiencing the narcissistic abuse to change how they think. So you're going into therapy. The therapist who's doing, for example, cognitive behavioral therapy will want to focus on changing how you think instead of teaching the client that no matter no matter how you think, you experiencing narcissistic abuse, no matter how much you think, that being gaslighted and manipulated feels awful, and there's nothing you can do to change the other person's behavior. There has to be education and contextualizing of narcissistic abuse in any form of therapy before turning solely to principles like you need to change how you think. You can change how you think until forever. That ain't going to stop someone from gaslighting you. Number 3, you've got to avoid therapeutic situations where keeping the relationship together is such a strong part of the agenda. Some couples therapists or people who are solely relationship focused or pastorally or religiously informed counselors are very, very invested in the idea that the only desirable outcome, short of it being physically dangerous, is making the relationship work, and that's the
Stop
best
right there,
possible
bro.
goal. The
Stop right
problem with
there.
that
I
is that
think that is so important. I think that is so important because a lot of couples will go and see a relationship therapist, a relationship counselor, a marriage counselor, their pastor, and not realizing that those type of counselors and therapists are there to keep your marriage together. They are not there to focus on the abuser that is narcissistic. Let me say that again. Your religious pastors and counselors in your church or institutions, wherever your religion or spirituality is, marriage counselors, marriage therapists are focused on you keeping your marriage together. They're not focused on the problem of the person that is narcissistic and that is narcissistically abusing you. So they are there to keep you together. And the focus will be on the marriage staying together. And they will use religion and they will use all those things based off of that to keep you in that marriage and keep you being abused without focusing on the nucleus of the problem, which is the narcissistic abuse. So basically she's saying that those are not the best people to go to when you are dealing with and being narcissistically abused in a relationship or marriage, if that makes sense.
Okay. Because I see where she's coming from, because I can see it's why would you go to somebody who has no training, no understanding, no nothing about this situation, and think they're going to have someone they're going to help you fix it? They probably not, right? They're just going to teach you how to manage the disorder more better, right? You can just manage it better, right? So okay, all right. So
well, they will give you things like, well, you gotta be more submissive to your wife,
right?
Or your husband. You gotta be more this or that instead of focusing on the person that is the narcissist. They're not equipped or experienced to handle that type of a person. And again, these people are there to say, let's pray about it. Let's this or that. They use the faith and religion and the fact that they're a marriage counselor. They're focused more on that than they are of actually getting to the person that got the problem, that's the narcissist, if that makes sense.
Okay. I would hope that any therapist that's a specialty therapist would be providing therapy on that thing. So if I'm going to a marriage counselor, I'm hoping that that counselor is trying to help us separately work together to fix whatever challenges we are having individually that will allow the marriage to be its best. So I wouldn't go to a marriage counselor if the goal is to be divorced, right? So unless in that therapy there was some revealing of some other type of abuse. So I thought what I was hearing her say was that because there's not a lot of research in this particular NPD disorder, because it's not narcissist that I thought the disorder was NPD, because there's not a lot of research and it's still kind of in its infancy stages of developing and learning, that a lot of therapists are not equipped yet. So you would need to go to what she gave as like a similar type therapist that may be most helpful in it. But I would think, like, if I went to, and I don't want to make this just about faith, because if I do go to my pastor or my counselor, if I'm going for the marriage, I'm hoping that they are counseling me in marriage. If I'm going to my pastor because I believe that I've been in a relationship with a narcissist, I'm praying that that will be revealed in that counseling, and then he or she would refer us to something else, or the person that has that behavior, me on the receiving end, the other person on the giving end. So I'm hoping that just in therapy, not just with a person that has NPD, that we are seeking skilled therapists for the thing that we are struggling with. So that's all I would say to that.
Okay, but Sister Annie, how would your pastor or marriage counselor know that one of you guys has NPD if they are a marriage counselor and they're about the marriage and the problem in the marriage, but they can't diagnose that one of you all is actually a narcissist to even recommend you to a therapist? That's the point that
So
she
what I
was
was
making.
saying, right? Well, what I'm saying is that if the goal is to get therapy in a in NPD, why are we even going to a marriage counselor? So I would
That's
challenge
right.
I would challenge the people, the husband, wife, the people in the relationship. Why are you going? That's like going to a mechanic and you want to get your blood pressure checked. They're checking another kind of diagnosis. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So
So in the first place, why would you and your spouse even go to a marriage counselor or your pastor in the first place? If you know or suspect that your husband is a narcissist, why would you even go to a marriage counselor or your pastor? Why wouldn't
I
you
think we're
just go
agreeing with
to?
each other. What
Okay.
the point? But the pastor's not the issue. It's the people that went to the pastor. So if you go to the pastor or whoever is doing the counseling in your church, or whoever the faith-based
But they
person.
are going to become the issue because they don't know what they're looking for.
But
No,
wouldn't a
well,
good
You know what I'm saying?
it sounds like even some therapists don't know what they're looking for because it's something that's
Exactly.
new.
That's why
okay,
she's
but
saying how important it is to find a person that's specialized, skilled, experienced, and educated in narcissism.
but
That's
wouldn't a
what
good
Go
I
pastor
think
ahead,
we're
though?
saying the same
Vaughn.
thing.
Yeah, wouldn't a good pastor though suggest that you go or refer you to someone else if it's not their field? You see
That's
what
what
I'm saying? Of
I agree.
expertise.
I agree.
You know, I mean, instead of them trying to give you the answers.
I agree.
You know,
But
it seems
okay,
like it seems like
I'm
if
gonna
they
ask
were wise, it seems like if they were wise, that they would, send you, refer you to, someone that could be of more help.
you just
Right.
said the magic word, if they are are wise, because most of the times they think that they can solve your problems for you, especially when you come to them. That's just how it is.
And
Right?
so it sounds like
And
some
they can
therapists would.
and they cannot see it, just like therapists can be fooled. That's why I'm saying, if you suspected, you, the husband and wife, suspect that one of you all is a narcissist, why would you even go there in the first place to your pastor or to the marriage counselor? Why would you just say, we need to look into finding a therapist that specializes in narcissists? So first, the onus is on you, and then second, if you go to that counselor or that marriage counselor or your pastor, and they don't tell you, I can't help you, you need to see a specialist that specializes in this, because they're not educated in narcissism. So they're not going to pick it up to even tell you that.
Right. I think we're saying the same thing. I would hope that whoever it is that a couple has gone to whether it's a pastor, whether it's another therapist that's just not skilled yet in this new disorder or this, there's a disorder that they're still doing study on. I would hope that a wise, prudent, honorable person would say, you know what, this is not my gift. Let me see if I can help you locate somebody that has the training to be able to help you with this particular struggle that you're having. So I think that we're all saying the same thing. We want to encourage people to go to the specialists that are specializing in what we need. So I would just,
All right. What do I say? What do you say, Clarence? Well, what do I say?
What say you, sir?
I can see both sides of the stick. I see that the point that, hey, you go to these the pastor. A lot of these pastors aren't really up on narcissism and narcissistic traits and stuff like that. They're not even up on that. They just a lot of times they're just gonna fire and brimstone everybody and trying to just do what you're supposed to do, right? And or maybe they go tell the woman just cook better, right? Or be more submissive,
or be
right?
more submissive, or pray it away.
Okay, and the guy, they probably tell, hey, just run us some bath water, rub her feet more, and do this or that, right? So, but those are things that not like if you don't see it and you don't recognize it, how would they know? But then on the other side, I see if you go into a marriage counselor, that's what they're there for. They're there to save the marriage. That's their job, just try to save the marriage. So they're going to do everything in their power to try to save the marriage. So whether they understand the issues or not, they're going to do what they think is the best thing to do, right? And very rarely, I haven't seen it happen a lot, but very rarely will they say, hey, you need to get some therapy. Like, you very rarely have I seen that when you go to like religious house for marriage counseling, and there be some real serious issues. I've seen some real serious issues, and therapy was not even on the table. So I can see it on both ends. It's hard because people don't know what to do. Like when you figure out that you got a serious problem like that, what do you do? Who do you call? What do you do? So the first thing they're going to do is try to go to the church. Well, I'm going to go to the church, right? And so they believe that everybody in the church is actually trying to help them. That's why they went there, because they think these people are going to try to help them, even if they don't know and understand the situation. They think they're going to get some help, right, in this situation.
So, Bro Clarence, if you don't mind, when you're done talking, roll that little part back so we can understand clearly.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to do that because
I had a
I'm
question
going to do
too.
that,
Can
y'all, because
I had a quick question I wanted to ask.
Okay. Can you ask a question, Patrice, before we roll the footage?
Absolutely. Hey, Brother Diamond, how are you? See you in the chat.
Hey, Diamond. All right.
Hey, Diamond.
Okay, so Patrice, you were saying something about how we should make sure that the therapist is skilled in certain areas, right? So how would you go about doing that? Do you ask them? You see what I'm saying about what they're skilled in and just take their word for it?
Well,
or do you do a further investigation as to, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Like today I had my second therapist appointment, right? When I did my evaluation, I specifically wrote down that I wanted a therapist that was experienced or educated in narcissism and trauma abuse specifically. And they are specifically align you with therapists in that way, right? So that's what I did. And when my first appointment, she basically was at she asked me why did I think I was in a narcissistic abusive relationship. And when I told her all of the things that I experienced, the love bombing, the gaslighting, the detachment, the no empathy, etc., etc. And she, you know how they do, they write down everything you say and your experiences. She didn't gaslight me. She didn't take that away from me. She said to me, it sounds like you definitely were. And she said, but this was over a year ago and you said you had no contact. What brought this on again? And I told her the situation with how I was triggered again and how I thought that, I was good in that space until this situation came up again. And she says, oh, okay, well, then let's explore that. So instead of her gaslighting me herself or not believing my reality of what I told her, she went off of based of what I said to her and said, we're going to explore why that triggered you after almost a year. And that's the road we're going down now as to why, because obviously there's some unresidual things, that's still underlining things that's still there, right? Even after almost a year. And she says sometimes that's the effect that being in a narcissistic abusive relationship can have on you. It can take time. Sometimes you could think that you suppressed it or it's over and that's all you did was suppress it. So we have to explore why those feelings came back up in you again. So that's how I felt like I knew I had the right therapist.
All right, we're gonna play a little bit more of this Dr. Romney. We're gonna roll it back, play that, and then we're gonna get out of here, y'all, because I gotta go. we gotta wrap it up. All right, let's play Dr. Romney one more time.
Be education and contextualizing of narcissistic abuse in any form of therapy before turning solely to principles like you need to change how you think. You can change how you think until forever. That ain't going to stop someone from gaslighting you. Number 3, you've got to avoid therapeutic situations where keeping the relationship together is such a strong part of the agenda. Some couples therapists or people who are solely relationship focused or pastorally or religiously informed counselors are very, very invested in the idea that the only desirable outcome, short of it being physically dangerous, is making the relationship work and that that's the best possible goal. The problem with that is that does not account for the toxic and the unchanging dynamics of a narcissistic relationship and may foster guilt, a sense of failure, and a sense of self-blame. Number 4, as I noted above, noted earlier, I should say. Number 4, as I noted earlier, if you can't find an expert in narcissistic abuse, look for therapists who focus on trauma. Trauma-informed therapists understand how to work with people who have been through a traumatic and fear-inducing and frankly confusing experience from a place of validation, safety, support, and with a whole full understanding of how trauma affects the nervous system and the person holistically. That perspective can be really, really useful as a part of being treated for narcissistic abuse. And trauma therapists are really on top of ensuring that a person doesn't blame themselves for something that happened to them.
I think that's important what she said. If you
Okay, y'all, we gotta
cannot,
leave it right there. What do y'all
yeah,
think?
I think that's important what she said. If you cannot find a therapist that focuses or educated and experienced on narcissism, at least find one that is educated and experienced in trauma because they kind of go hand in hand, right? And that person can work with you on the trauma that was caused by the narcissistic abuse. I'm not going to go, and I don't mean no harm, but I am not going to go to a marriage counselor that's there to fix my marriage and I'm dealing with trauma. I'm not going to go to my pastor who's not experienced in trauma or narcissistic abuse to try to keep my marriage together, but I have to go home and endure trauma with my spouse. That's just doesn't logically make any sense. So specifically, if you're going to people like that is not telling you hey, this is more than meets the eye. This is not my expertise. I need to refer you to someone else, because that's what they do at the hospital. Or if you have a specialist, you need to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor. You're not going to go to a heart doctor for that, right? So it's that similar situation that you have to make sure that you're going to the right person that's experienced, skilled, and educated in your particular field of trauma and abuse that you have experienced. So it makes perfect sense what she said.
Oh man, yeah. So, okay, y'all, we wrapping up this thing on this series on narcissism, and even though we wrapping up the series, I'm sure we're still gonna be talking about it, because this is something that touches almost all of our lives, right? We all have either dealt with somebody like that, are going to be dealing with somebody like that, or are dealing with somebody like that right now, right? So we've all had to deal with somebody like this, I'm sure. So I want to thank Patrice for what she did, man. Yeah, well, no, that's not the one I want. I want to thank Patrice for what she did, and you know, putting this series together and bringing us all together to talk about this very serious issue. Hopefully some people got something out of it, and they're able to recognize that, even like what Patrice saying just now, man, hey, wait a minute. Is this person, okay, so we pretty much know that this person is a narcissist. Maybe we should take them to a person that just deals with narcissism, right? As opposed to the pastor, right? So, you know what I mean? If you had that knowledge. That's the key, because that's the dichotomy right there. Some people, most of the people that go to marriage counseling, nobody's diagnosed. Nobody knows nothing. So they just going in there to try to fix the problem, right? And they don't really know.
Going to be skilled in just narcissism alone, right? They're not just going to only be skilled in that one area.
Who's that?
The therapist.
Right.
Yeah. They're going to be skilled in trauma itself.
Would be more well-rounded, but that would be a part of it, right?
Yeah, that's just a part of it, Vaughn. Absolutely. They are skilled in mental illness. They skilled in OCD, PTSD, bipolar, depression.
Right, exactly. All of
disorder, destructive identity disorder, DID, which means multiple personalities. But they have to have some experience and feel in narcissism abuse as well, and if not, at least trauma, because we know trauma comes from that. But you're absolutely right. They're multifaceted in a variety of different types of disorders and mental illnesses.
All right, y'all. I think we had a great show today. Did an outstanding job. Everybody did a great job. You know what I'm saying? But
absolutely.
Let's get some. Oh, go ahead, girl.
Yeah. I just wanted to thank Brother Leon R. Walker Jr.
Definitely.
for being a part of my Narcs series. He just came without a doubt and gave us so much knowledge, so much education, so much jewels to take with us. And now I feel like I'm a better person because of it. I'm back in therapy because of it. I'm very grateful that that this series has opened my eyes and hopefully open other people's eyes to know the signs and things to look out for, and I hope and pray that no one gets into any form of type of abusive relationship. The thing that I learned in all the years I've been on this earth, and I've been in relationships and out, I've hurt some people and they've hurt me. This experience, this type of abuse from a narcissist, is hit different, y'all. I'm here to tell you, it's a different type of experience I've ever experienced in my life, because I've never been in a physically abusive relationship, and I never had been in a verbally abusive relationship. But the particular narcissist can be verbal only, and then they could be physically only, and they could be verbally and physically only. It's so many facets that come with this. But to know that that video tape, and I'll play it for y'all behind the scenes one day of the verbal abuse. I'm just glad that I didn't pick up the phone and actually have him say that to me, but I listened back to it, and I'm telling you, it just hits different to know that somebody is capable of that. And I hope nobody have to go through that. I really, really do. It's a different kind of experience. That's all I can say. It hits different. That's all. But I also want to thank Terrell Andretti for being a guest, as being a survivor of a female narc. And just this young man, I'm telling you, this young man came over here and he dropped so many gems, and he is so wise, and he gave so many good points and talked about his experience of being in a narcissistic abuse from a male's perspective. So I want to thank both of those brothers. I definitely plan to bring them back at some point in time, to talk about it at some other point. But we could not have done this without them. We could not have done it with all the wonderful people that's in the chat that had questions and comments and talked about their experience in the chat. They may not come up on the panel, but thank you guys so much. And I wish you guys continued good health, find healthy relationships, continue with your therapy if that's what you're doing. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this series as well. And I want to thank my Let's Talk the Better Black Life family, last but not least, for being a part of this journey with me, this healing with me, walking through this with me, having the conversation with me. I couldn't have did it without you guys. Rico, thank you. Brother Vaughn, thank you. Sister Annie, thank you. And my brother, Brooke Clarence, I love you. Thank you for even allowing this to be on your platform. I cannot tell you how much this means to me that you allowed me to do this series on your platform and working with me and my guests. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much. I'm so very appreciative of it. So this has been a wonderful journey. I'm feeling better. I'm getting there. I'm actually really glad I'm back in therapy. So I would encourage that for anybody that has been triggered by any trauma, going through any trauma, or even if you're in a relationship with a person that is in any form of abusive relationship, to please seek therapy. That is the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah. And Vaughn,
and I digress, but I will say my motto from now on: I love me more than I love being abused.
I heard that.
You got to love yourself more than anything.
I wish we can get that across to everybody. Hopefully we can get that out there. Well, Vaughn had the number for the domestic violence number, that hotline. Vaughn,
I can put that. I can put that out there.
Please, Vaughn, because man, just that alone makes the show the whole thing worth what we were doing today. All right, y'all, we gotta get out of here. Shout out to Pat, man. Pat is Pat is like, man, in that chat, man, running that chat. Shout out to Pat. All right, so we got to get out of here, y'all. Now we will be back on wait, we're gonna be on our Sean show. We're gonna be on critically drinking.
That's
right. We're gonna be on critically drinking on Saturday morning. Well, Saturday afternoon for you guys in the East Coast, but for us on the West Coast, it's gonna be 11 o'clock Saturday morning, right? All right. I finally got an email from Marshawn.
Now, so Brother Clarence.
Yes.
What time is that our time?
That's 11 a.m. Vaughn.
Okay, I got it now.
Yeah,
I just get mixed up sometimes because I'm a little older.
I'm old. Vaughn is elderly. There's a difference there.
However you want to put it.
Oh, y'all throwing the low blows. Y'all throwing the low blows.
I will take all of that.
All right, y'all. We got to get up out of here, man. All right, let's get some final closing remarks, and then I'm gonna wrap the show up real quick today because I got to go talk to this baby. So, all right, let's see.
I can go because mine will be real quick. It's gonna be real quick.
All
Okay.
right, Sister
All right.
Annie.
Yeah, buddy. OG
Take your time.
Patrice,
Take your time.
I say this again to you. This is your gift, or this is one of your gifts.
One of them.
Just being able to connect with people that can help uplift a community. That is you. That is absolutely you. I thank you for allowing what was one of the tougher times in your life to be the inspiration for something that I know is going to heal a lot of people. It's going to be you. What you've done is you've allowed people to have these like hazard signs now that they may have ignored or may have laughed off. One thing that I would say, and this is from a spiritual place, but just a common sense thing, we need people. We can't do this stuff by ourselves. So thank God that you had Brother Clarence and Vaughn when you needed them and they were there. I was praying for you. Didn't know I was praying for you. I was somewhere in the corner in the cut. But we need y'all. We got to be able to not have so much pride and I'm not saying that this was you, OG Patrice. I'm just saying we as people to not be so prideful to say, I need some help, or this doesn't feel good right here. And I think my heart is too vested right now where my head is acting like it doesn't have any sense. So, definitely seek the help. It's not a bad thing to need to talk to somebody. If you don't want to call it going to see a therapist, just say, hey, I need to go talk to a stranger that has to commit to not sharing my information with anybody else. However, you have to make that thing sound in your heart, do it. But I pray that this has been something that's planted a seed for any person that's listening, to let them know that you have to take assessment of yourself to see, am I in a healthy place that I know that I deserve love and I need to receive love in a way that's healthy for me. So I pray, if nothing else, that thing just kind of tapped you on the shoulder and said, hey, let me just look at this a little more closely. Thank you, Brother Clarence, again for just allowing this. And, I hope people don't feel like this went too long. It actually didn't go long enough.
No.
Because it's something that's kind of new. And because people are, in my opinion, mishandling the word. So it's watering it down and it's making it not seem so important. So I'm thankful for the length of time that we did talk about this. And I hope that we are able to sprinkle how all this stuff, I can't stress this enough, how what you're doing on this channel, Brother Clarence, it's sewing a thread through everything. Get your finances together so you're not so dependent on other people. Even if you get into a marriage where you say, okay, well, this person is going to be the breadwinner. If something happened in that relationship, you need to know how to bounce back on your own. Yeah. Kids need to be able to early on know their worth. Yeah. Be equipped educationally, financially, spiritually, mentally. Knowing to love themselves. So all this is from there. Some of this stuff, some of these disorders and these behaviors are starting that young. That's why this is so important. This is very important, y'all. Definitely. Don't allow this word to just slip away like the wind. If you feel like you have been experiencing this, talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. Patrice, she can't be somebody counselor, but like just listen to these different streams. OG Patrice, remember I sent you that stream? Because this other channel was talking about it. I was like, what's going on? There's a lot of channels talking about this, which is good. Something is happening. Something is happening. And I'm glad that Let's Talk the Better Black Life is a part of it. So this is about healing. And like I said, I thank you again, OG Patrice and Vaughn. Thank you so much, because this is like this is a worldly well, it's spiritual to me, the root of it, but this is something that's showing up in the world, but you understand where it is in the spirit. And I thank you for recognizing that and speaking to that. I hear you when you speak where it's coming from a spiritual place. So I thank all of y'all for that. I think collectively this has just been a very good series. Now I don't know how we shift into this polygamy after this, but this was good. I love y'all so much. I love y'all. I hope that y'all know that, you know, I'm here for y'all. It's not about just this channel. It's about our whole being. So, you know, y'all know how to get in touch with me if y'all ever need anything. And I'm calling on y'all if I need something. I'm telling y'all that right now. But love you. You want me to drop down? I'm gonna drop. You could drop me down.
Okay. All right.
All
Thanks.
right. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Love you, girl.
Good night. Good
All
night.
right, that's Sister Annie dropped her down real quick. Man. See, I'm smart. I go last. Y'all gotta follow behind stuff like that, man. I just gotta go last.
Wow. Well, listen, man, you know, I've been listening throughout the week, and I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but
oh yeah, I can.
I've been listening throughout the week, and man, so much excellent information, you know. And like Anae said, you know, let's not just use this word narcissistic haphazardly. Let's get an education. Let's learn something about what it really is, and it's not just a cliche. You know, people are suffering from this disorder, and those of us who walk around, you know, blindly, we can overlook these symptoms and these signs, you know, that these individuals are showing. But listen, you know, Patrice, you did an excellent job.
Man.
You know, you really put your time into it, and such a great effort, you know, that you have shown. And I'm very proud of you in that regard. I want to try something, Brother Clarence.
My man. Uh-oh.
You did an excellent job. You know, and you deserve that. You deserve that.
Definitely.
And even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
man, Brother Clarence, listen, you know, your gift, it's just making room for you. And you can see that's happening, man. You see how your show has changed from its beginning up to now. You see what I'm saying? You know, you've had a lot of different people on and gone through some
yeah, we did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you put your foot down and you said, hey, I don't want to go in that direction.
Right.
This is the direction that I want to go in. You know, and so when we're all together and you have people of like minds, you see what I'm saying? The Bible said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I will be in the midst. You see what I'm saying? And I believe God is in the midst of what we're doing here, because we're not just getting up here talking a bunch of malarkey. We're not just getting up here. Yeah, we're not just getting up here talking about, oh, what did the man do to the woman and what did the woman do to the man? You know, those conversations have become very exhausting to me. You know, sometimes if I see it in the thumbnail, I don't even try to watch the stream because I already know what direction you're going in. You know, it's only so many ways to make a pancake.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, but yeah, listen, man, the knowledge and the admonition that has been shared these past couple of weeks with this series, you know, it has enlightened many. You know what I'm saying? And so we just need to move forward from there. And like Anae said, I don't know what this other thing is about now. What are we talking about next? What are we talking about next, Brother Clarence? What, I said, what's the next thing that we're
we talking about the polyamorous lifestyle, man. Can you hear me, Vaughn?
I don't know what happened. He went out. Can you hear me, brother? Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, something happened. I think what happened, Patrice, I told him that we talking about the party lifestyle, man, and he fell out. He passed out on the floor, and his wife is bringing him back around, saying, "Hey, Vaughn, yeah, the guy did say party lifestyle, right?"
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna be talking about the party lifestyle. We're gonna find out where it started from, who brought it in, why it became so popular, and where is it at now, and what purpose it serves. We're gonna go into a lot of different stuff, and we're gonna be talking to some people that's actually involved with it, and you know, on both sides, right? We're gonna talk to some people on both sides, of the men that have extra wives, women that have extra husbands. We can find them. I know where one is. but I don't know if she'll be able to come on here. But I know one for sure. But we'll try to find some. But anyway, that was Vaughn Bryant, man. Very valuable dude, helper of ours, man. I mean, Vaughn is one of those guys, man, that you don't see behind the scenes, helping out all the time, man. Doing a lot of different stuff behind the scenes. So same thing with Sister Annie, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So shout out to them. Appreciate them. We would not be able to do the stuff we doing if, we didn't have them here, right? Because I've had I had times where Vaughn said, "Man, brother, you sure you want to go down that road? We're doing this. We're doing a good thing. What we doing here? Why don't we just stay on this road here?" And I said, "You know what? You're right. Let me."
And Brother Vaughn, too, if you wanted to finish closing out.
Oh yeah.
What you want to
Go
say?
ahead,
Yeah,
Vaughn.
please do it.
Well, I really don't even have hair to pull out over here. I done set up this new stuff, and it's really it's vexing me at this point. But it's all right, man. I'll figure it out after a while. I don't know, maybe some wiring or something's going on.
You're learning, man.
Yeah, it's trial and error, right?
Yeah.
But excellent job again, both of you. Excellent job. I was trying to ask a question about the next topic, and you said it's poly what?
It's the poly lifestyle, man. We're going to be in. We are going to wait, Vaughn, wait. Vaughn, I gotta tell you what the poly lifestyle is, Vaughn. We're gonna be talking to people that have multiple wives or multiple husbands. That's what we're gonna be talking about. And is it a solution? I mean, in this situation where we got all these available single women, and not that many available single men. I mean, they outnumbering us like 16-1, some places 20-1. Is it a solution? Is it a viable solution? We're gonna talk about all this stuff, man.
Okay, well, let me get my points together, and because I can only go so far with that one, Brother Claire. I'm from that school. I'm from that school. But it should make for interesting conversation, though.
Absolutely.
And I heard Patrice say earlier that a lot of people will use that lifestyle as an excuse to cover up their narcissistic behavior, right?
Or the fact that they want to have multiple sex partners.
That's really the issue. That right there, in my opinion,
so we'll talk
that's
about
really
it.
the
We'll
issue.
talk about it. We're
gonna look into it. We're gonna look into it, man.
Yeah, listen, I'm sorry if the microphone is off and I'm going
you're
in
fine,
and out.
man.
I don't know if you can hear me well right now.
Yes, you're fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, well, man, listen, I enjoyed being up here with both of you. And
enjoy having you, brother.
The next time, Brother Clarence, you're going to be there Saturday, right?
I will be there Saturday. I finally got an email from him, responded to him, telling him I will be there on Saturday.
Okay, OG Patrice.
I will be there with bells on.
All right, get your pencil and your paper now.
Oh, okay. We're gonna need some pencil paper. Okay, I didn't know all that. I know it's gonna be that.
Gotta keep score, I guess.
Somebody's got to do it.
I don't know.
But it should be fun. It should be fun.
Yeah,
all right, listen, I know Patrice has a lot to say, and I'm going to get out of here and let you all go ahead on. But listen, peace and blessings.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, and I love you. Thank you so much. And give all the best to your wife and your family.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yes, I will definitely do that.
All right, big bro. I'm gonna pull you down, man. Thank you, brother, for showing up as always, man. All right, that was Brother Vaughn Bryant, man. Very valuable helper of ours, as like I said before, man. A lot of stuff behind the scenes. Okay, just you and me, executive producer.
Two of the toughest. All right, brother. When I first came to these YouTube streets, my goal and my vision never changed. It was for the betterment of our people, because of the love I have for my people, right? That's always been genuine.
Yeah.
Seeing all the different panels I've been on, trying to be a part of the solution and not the problem, and just noticing patterns of people just wanting to have the conversation just for the sake of having it and not actually wanting to be a part of the solution. And solve problems in our community, solve problems in our relationships, and we wonder why there's the gender wars, and we wonder why, men are on panels, talking about women, and women on panels talking about how bad men are. And it just goes on and on and on. And this truly is an echo chamber of years and years of hearing this without no tangible results, really. I wanted to be a part of the solution. Being a part of the Let's Talk the Better Black Life family, I took those words to heart, Brother Clarence, because I saw that you took them to heart.
Definitely.
And if we truly want to have a better life as a people, as a culture, then we got to talk about the things that is hindering our lives. We got to talk about the things that has traumatized our life, and we got to talk about the solutions for those said things, right? So having this series has opened the eyes and hopefully the ears and the hearts of people that have experienced their own trauma they haven't dealt with. Maybe it's festered something back up again in their childhood, because we all know until we get to the nucleus of what's going on with us, that's the only way we can get in healthy relationships with other people and resolve our said gender war problems, right? Fixing the families. But it starts with us first individually. We have to come to realization that whatever it is that's wrong with us, that needs fixing, we need to work on that. We need to talk more about mental health in the Black community. We need to talk more about going to therapy in the Black community. That's something that we continues for some reason wants to be taboo or hush hush or swept under the rug or don't talk about it, ignore it, and it'll go away. Listen, I don't mean no harm. Pray it away. Listen, I don't mean no harm, but everything can't be prayed away. Everything can't be not talked about. Everything can't be. Listen, that is why God bless people on this earth to get licensed, experienced, educated, and skilled in things that plagues our community on a mental level, on a physical, emotional, psychological, and all of that we go through. God see fit that people specialize in these particular traumas and disorders are there for a reason. That don't mean I don't pray. That don't mean that I pray to God that I be glad when I can get through what I'm going through. That don't mean that. But I just knew that the pastor is not the answer to helping me with this problem. Not when it comes to it's not. I'm not married, so I don't. Why am I going to a marriage counselor? We have to address the problems and go to the professional help for the people of said problems. So I want us to be cognizant and aware of that. If we talking truly on this channel about having a better Black life for our people so that we can be better for ourselves and therefore we can be better for each other, we have to fix what's wrong with us. It starts with us. There are some pretty sick tickets out here that they listen. They don't want to get the help. They may never get the help. You understand? They don't even think anything is wrong with them. Most people with narcissistic personality disorder would have it, and if it be their way, they don't think nothing is wrong with them, and they will take it to their grave. But they will also take to their grave all the hurt, the pain, the anguish, the abuse, the trauma, the toxicity, the dysfunction that they have done and caused to other people. So at what point are we going to decide, I may have been a victim, but I'm not going to become a victimizer? I may have been a victim, but I'm going to be an advocate for other victims. See, that's a choice. So it's about choices. And you can't change people. You can't fix and change narcissistic people that suffer with the disorder. You can't change them. I don't care how you try to love them, how you try to buy them, how you try to do whatever. You can't Change them. They have to want to change themselves and seriously be in extensive therapy for the rest of their life to fix the disorder that they have. And
Definitely.
until they come to the realization of that, they are not going to be good for nobody. Because it's like a broken, empty, hollow vessel inside of them that they are unhappy with themselves based off of their own trauma. And they project that onto other people and they hurt other people in the process of it. And they just go on and bite and suck the blood out of the next supply and the next supply and the next supply. And it is plaguing our community and it is hurting our relationships with our men and our women.
Definitely.
We have to deal with our traumas. You could have had a narcissistic parent that you grew up with that affected you. That's abuse. It's all abuse. So if we're going to be about the Black life, the better Black life, if we're really going to be about it, we have to be a part of the solution and not the problem. And it starts with self. Thank everybody again for tuning in to this Narc series. We're going to every now and then continue to have the conversation about this and other things that plagues us as a people, as a culture, in our communities. That's what I want this to be about. We need healing, guys, and we have to deal with that. And it's a reflection of starting with self. Whatever it is, now that I'm back in therapy for to get resolved for my own triggering issues that came with being in a narcissistic relationship with someone, I got to deal with that. You know, and I'm okay with being open and honest as a grown woman on this platform saying, I got to go take care of me. You got to be okay with saying, I got to go take care of you too. It's up to you. You have to love yourself more than you love being abused. I thank y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with somebody because somebody need this. Somebody is in this position now going through this. Somebody may have went through this and don't know where to go to get the help.
Yeah.
Share this video, like this video, subscribe to this channel because we're going to bring you guys more solutions to our problems that plague our community, guys. That plague our people, guys.
Definitely.
I thank y'all. I love y'all. And I digress.
All right, sis, I'm going to pull you down. Thank you so much for all your work. We appreciate you. All right, you know, that's my sister right there. Okay. She's the one that, see, y'all don't see the kicks in the butt that Patrice give me behind the scenes, right? Where's the link? What's going on, Clarence? What's happening? Where's the thumbnail? I'm telling you, man, if Patrice is on it, man, Patrice is on it, man. She's on it. All right. What y'all think? What y'all think about this series, man? What y'all think about this series, man? If you think it was a good series, man, if you see Patrice out there, let her know. Hey, you know, I mean, she put a lot of time into it. And hey, you know, I'm sorry to inform y'all, man, ain't nobody getting paid over it. Let's talk to Better Black Life. Ain't nobody getting paid over here, right? Brother Clarence got to go to a real job just like the rest of y'all, man. So we doing this just like y'all come over here because y'all love us. We come over here because we love y'all, right? We got comments. Ain't nobody getting no money over here. But we're not looking for it, though. We're not looking for it. We rather look for it. I think I can speak for Patrice, Sister Annie, and Vaughn, and everybody over here, Rico, everybody over here. I think rather than take the money, we'd rather see one or two people come back and say, you know what, man, you guys did that thing on narcissism, man. I was dealing with something like that, and when I saw that, I couldn't believe it, man. Y'all was talking about me. And I ended up going and then I ended up going and taking a person, and he got diagnosed or she got diagnosed, and we working on it. Or we not working on it. I had to leave, or, you know what I mean, for my own safety, right? But, you know, it's some kind of way it inspired them to do something positive for themselves, right? Because that's what we about, man. We ain't telling nobody leave this relationship. You got to decide whether you are worth leaving a relationship for, right? And you are, but you gotta know that. You gotta know that, especially if there's abuse going on. If there's abuse going on, you should not be involved in any abuse. I think Vaughn put the hotline on in the chat. Any abuse, man, call that number. They'll direct you to some help to help you, right? All right, y'all, we're going to get on out of here, man. Thank you, Pat, man. Pat has been on it the whole chat. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate you. All right, so we're going to get out of here. Now, what's going to happen next? Okay, on Sunday, we're going to be back. I don't know what we're going to be talking about yet. We might be talking about Mystical, man. Mystical caught another charge. He caught another ARP charge. This is his third ARP charge. Oh, yeah. Mystical, the rapper Mystical, he caught another ARP charge. So we might talk a little bit about Mystical on Saturday. Oh, and Polite goes back to court this month. Polite goes back to court. Well, today's the 31st. I'm sorry. Next month, tomorrow. After tomorrow, it'll be next month. Yeah, Polite goes back to court. So we're gonna definitely revisit the Polite situation, right? Because we want to see if he's going to plead. Well, there's no other option for him. The only other option is if the other people pull the plea off the table. If they pull that plea off the table, Polite is done. So his only option is to take that plea, in my opinion. But we'll find out. We're going to revisit that situation. But so we're going to be back on Saturday. We're going to be over at Critically Drinking. If you haven't already subscribed to Critically Drinking, go and subscribe to Critically Drinking. We're gonna be over on Critically Drinking. I guess we're gonna be playing a game over there, right? I don't know what we're gonna be doing, but I finally got a video, a invite from Arshawn, and so I went ahead and let him know that we're gonna be there. Okay. Good night, Patrice. All right. So anyway, so we did that, and so we'll be here on Saturday. We'll be here on Saturday, and then we'll be back on Sunday. We're going to do the regular show. We're going to be back to the regular show. The Black History Minute, the jobs, job of the week, saving black families or saving black boys, one of the two we'll be working on. And then, all the other stuff, and then we'll do our topic. Like I said, we might touch on that Mystical situation and then something else. All right, y'all, so that is the plan. We will be back on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we won't be here. It's going to be an away game. We're going to be over at Critically Drinking, and I guess we're going to be playing a game or something like that. So anyway, I'll see y'all on Saturday, and then those of y'all we don't catch us on Saturday, we'll see y'all on Sunday. All right, y'all. Peace. Have a great evening. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't do the rundown or anything, right? I'm trying to run out of here, right? Let me do the rundown real quick. All right, everybody. Everybody in the chat did a great job. Shout out to Pat Taylor. Great job. Everybody did a great job, man. That's what we need, man. We're trying to see y'all. We ain't trying to have an echo chamber. We're just trying to encourage our people, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna, we gonna tell them when they wrong, right? Okay, Sister Annie. We're gonna tell them when they wrong, but we just trying to encourage them, right? So, but you can ask questions and you can even disagree, right? Y'all saw up here, we disagree with each other, but we still love each other. Anyway, all right, so anyway, the chat is where it's at. Very solid performance from the chat. Very solid, very strong performance. Everybody did a great job. Appreciate all of you guys. No bots, no nothing. Can I pin it in the chat? Pin one. Pin where we're going to be Critically Drinking. Vaughn, if you could throw Critically Drinking up there, man, in the chat and pin it. Oh, I'll pin it if you throw it up there. Because I'm going to keep talking right now. I'm going to keep talking, Pat. But just if you look up Critically Drinking, search Critically Drinking just put it in the YouTube bar, search bar. You'll come to Critically Drinking with Brother Arshawn, Yella, and Bree over there, and we're gonna be over there, I guess, on Saturday. All right, I'm just riding in the car, Pat. So we'll find out what we're doing when we get over there. All right, but shout out to the chat. Chat's where it's at. Very solid performance from the chat as always. Very, very solid as always. Who else was on the stage today? We had Sister Annie as always on the stage. Excuse me. I'm coming up there, right? You got OG Patrice up there. You got Vaughn up there. I'm coming up there, Brooklyn. I'm coming up there. All right, sis. All right. But Sister Annie, I'm so glad when she comes up here, man, because she promotes such a good vibe that other people, man, is attracted to other people, and other people will see, how people who really care about each other kind of can relate to each other. We can disagree, but we still, got that love and respect for each other, man. So shout out to Sister Annie. Glad to have you in the building as always, sis. A very valuable helper to the channel. We appreciate you very, very much. Very strong performance, very solid as always. What about OG Patrice? What about OG Patrice? OG Patrice came up here and she executive produced this whole series. And I mean, man, that's a lot of work, man. You got to call people, you got to return their calls, you got to do all this stuff while you at work, while you're on a break, and this. And that. You got there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes you got to do, right? Then you got to confirm with them. You got to send them a link. Then you got to, then you got to prep them. It's a lot of work, You know what I mean? So, and then shout out to the guests that came through, right? Brother Leon Walker, man. He's a high stepper, man. He got a lot going on. He didn't really have to come over here, right? But shout out to him. Oh, thank you, Stanley. Appreciate you. Yeah, he didn't have to come over here, right? Let me pin this, man. If I can pin it, there we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, Leon didn't have to come over here. Y'all got a whole bunch. Talk about subscribers, man. This dude got a whole bunch of subscribers. Didn't have to come over here. Same thing with Terrell. Terrell didn't have to come over here, right? Terrell got his own thing going on. Plus, he's doing music, right? I mean, these guys are phenomenal, right? So we're gonna bring them back, man. We're gonna have some more talk with them, man, because they're just good dudes, man. They trying to live their life, right? Are they perfect? No, none of us are perfect. But man, they trying to live. They trying to, they striving for that righteous lifestyle. You know what I mean? So we can't hold that against nobody. But shout out to Sister Annie. Shout out to OG Patrice for creating this series, walking through, making it happen. Shout out to her and hanging in there with it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her for that. We appreciate her for that. And there are going to be many more from OG Patrice. We appreciate her. But very solid performance from her. Very strong, very solid performance, right? Who else was on the stage today? Von Bryant. Sound like Von Bryant got a little equipment over there, right? I think the Von Bryant channel might be showing up, might be coming in a little bit, right? Shout out to Von, man. Man, we wish you much success, brother, in all your endeavors, man, that you get involved with, man. Because like you were saying, for me, I see it for you. I see that God has a lot of things for you, man, to get involved with, man. This is you thought all them years you lived. This is the beginning. Now you're at the beginning of your work, right? This is the beginning of your work, man. So man, just continue to ask God to help him to help you to see what he got planned for you and how you can best get it done. And man, you stay on it, man. Stay on it. And I'll help you any way I can, that for sure. All right, but Von Bryant, very solid performance, very strong as always. Okay, y'all, we got to get out of here. I will see y'all on the next time, man, on Saturday at Critically Drinking over there. Sister Annie put it in the chat. And then, of course, Sunday we'll be back here with the regular show. Okay? All right, y'all, we'll see y'all. Peace.